And we are live here with Joe Fritz Paull showing us the wonderful game Prestige. But first, let's meet our playtester panel. Sasha?
Hello, I'm Sasha. I like playtesting games. I like teaching game design, and I'm here to check out this game.
Awesome.
Is it middle schoolers? Who are you teaching?
Yeah,
Yeah.
middle school. I potentially am going to be teaching some elementary school kids, but primarily middle schoolers.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Trevor?
Awesome.
Hey, I'm Trevor. I'm an aspiring board game designer. And yeah, here to play Joe's game.
Yeah. And something I was pointing out to someone else the other day. If you're designing a game right now,
You are a game designer.
are a game designer. It
There we
doesn't
go.
matter
And-
if you've made tens of dollars yet or not. You
Yeah,
are
tens.
already a game designer.
Yeah, tens or even 100.
Jack.
I did have almost somebody sign me, and they made the mistake of sending me a game before they decided they didn't want my game. So it kind of counted as payment.
I mean, that's a write-off. That's a write-off.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Right, that works. Yeah.
Our illustrious co-host.
Jack Dunbar. Yeah, Jack Dunbar, co-host. I from New Kingdom Gaming. Yeah, as of yet unpublished, but prolific playtester.
Yeah, right.
And really excited to play this game with our guest. But first, let's hear from our host, Evan.
Oh, it's me. It's Evan. I have published After the Empire, plus a couple other contracts that will probably come out next year at some point, and playtester of thousands and thousands of playtests.
Yeah.
But our main focus tonight is this lovely game, Prestige, by Mr. Fritz Paull. Why don't you tell us about it?
Sure. So Prestige is a semi-cooperative game. The idea behind that is you're working together, and if you reach a loss condition, everybody loses. But if you reach a victory condition, only one person will be determined as the winner. So the game is set at the dawn of civilization, and four tribes have decided to come together to build a city where all of their people can prosper. And as I said before, if your city fails, you all lose. But if you win, only one tribe will be remembered throughout all of history. So that's kind of the setting that the game is set in. It has been picked up by a publisher called Oak Lounge Games, which I'm really excited about.
Nice.
I haven't been published before this point, so I'm excited.
Congrats, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's good.
Congratulations, Fritz. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks. And
I'm to understand there's some really cool artwork I should show the people at home. Is that true?
yeah, there is.
All artwork shown as placeholder. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So most of the art that you'll see in the game is placeholder art on the cards and stuff, but
Still,
around
that's
the
pretty sweet.
walls.
Oh, look at that. There's like a map way over there. Whoa, I'm out in the middle of it. Okay, now I'm coming back to the table. All right.
We've lost Evan.
Okay, and I'm back. You can continue. I'm
Sure.
sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, the art on the wall is all the art that's been completed already for the game.
Cool.
There are these
Awesome.
landscapes that will be broken up into individual cards, and it's a tableau builder. So we'll actually be reassembling this kind of city landscape as we go,
Cool.
Which is kind of a cool mechanic that the publisher thought up.
I like it.
And that's still all underway. And while they finish up the artwork, they're letting me tweak the game, which is very nice because events like this allow me to make the game even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until
That's
you
the hope.
print, man. That's always the way of it.
Yeah. If it was up to me, I'd just be tweaking until I die. So
Yep.
Yeah.
I appreciate having an end game, a due
That's
date.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You're always like, but it's not quite. Okay. All right. Here we go. It is what it is.
So I have just a couple questions before we get started, Fritz.
Sure.
First of all, one thing is some people might know you on Facebook from the BGDL or from some other communities because you're pretty active. But isn't your name Joe Paul?
Yeah.
Where does Fritz come from?
So the name Fritz is just a pen name for the game. Basically, the story is there's another game I'm working on. It's a much bigger game called Dust in Space. And my father is an artist, and he is working on some of the cover art and other pieces for the game.
So cool.
And he shares the same name as me. So I didn't want people to just give me all the credit for his beautiful artwork. So I decided to go with a pen name. So I took up Fritz, which is in honor of my grandfather, who also had the name Joe Paul, but he used the nickname of Fritz.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us out there.
No junior and
That's
senior
awesome.
action.
Well, that gets even more confusing because they went the traditional route with it. So my father's name is Joe Paul Jr., and then I'm named Joe Paul II. So
Yeah.
people would still get a little confused between the two.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
People would be like, look at this guy putting his name Joe Paul Jr., Joe Paul II. That's awesome. Tell us about Oak Lounge Games also a little bit. There's something unique about them, I think, that you were telling me about before.
I don't know what aspect of it was unique, but they're pretty cool. I mean, they have a lot of things unique. I don't know what specifically you're referencing.
It's all
but they
made.
are.
Is it made stateside?
Yeah.
Or sustainable or something like that? It was
Yeah.
one of the two.
So they're all made in the Americas, recognizing that that's where their biggest market is going to be. So most of it, I think it depends on the game, but most of it's being made in the US, Canada, or Mexico. Anything from graphic design and design work to production level stuff. So manufacturing, distribution, all that stuff stateside, or in one of the adjacent countries. And they're a relatively small company. They just released their first game called Bootleg, which I'm excited to get my copy of. And they've got one more coming up before mine, which is called Hero's Journey, as well as they have a bunch of other items as well as on like their shop and stuff. But then Prestige will be their third game released in-house, which I'm honored to be.
That's awesome, man.
Very
Thanks.
cool.
I'm checking out
Very
Oak
cool.
Lounge Games right
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I was. Yeah, I think it's the Made in Americas thing that I think is just. I personally think that that's really cool.
Me too.
Yeah,
It was
just
like
excited to see how they look. You know.
Yeah, definitely. It was the big thing for me when I signed with them. Just mostly from a sustainability perspective. It's so much to manufacture across the world and then ship it all the way over here. But then there's also a bunch of other benefits too, like the fact that they're supporting manufacturing and economies here on this side of the world, which is nice as well.
Yeah, very cool. All right. Well, unless there are any other questions from the rest of the testers, should we get into the teach for Prestige?
Well, actually, real fast, I want to know, how did you get together with Oak Lounge?
I had an Instagram account going for my other game, Dust in Space, and they actually started following me when they opened up shop. And then I just started looking at their Instagram page and was like, oh, this is cool. So I just found them online. They had this little application to pitch, and I filled it out. And a couple weeks later, they were intrigued enough by Prestige that they wanted to jump on in.
That's awesome. And the thing you see over and over with people, being successful or being noticed is they're literally just putting in the time and the effort to create the thing and put it out there in the world and just enjoy that. And then eventually, people do see you doing the hard work and they do see your Instagram post and, and things do happen if you kind of, put it out there.
Definitely.
So, that's cool, man.
In fact, this game, I didn't think would ever be published. I was looking at it and it was like, there's like 250 cards involved in this game. And I was like, there's no way I could ever afford on my own enough art for 250 cards. I didn't even think publishing was like an option. But
yeah, individual artwork for 250 cards is no joke.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is an added benefit of the landscape method that they're doing. So they instead hired an artist to do
Right.
6 big pieces.
Right.
But still not something that I probably could have done on my own.
That's a big upfront cost. That's cool.
Yeah.
Benefit of working with a publisher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, teach us away.
Sure. Okay. So as I said, we're at the dawn of civilization, and each of us are going to represent one tribe that's coming together to build this city where all of our people can prosper. But we all want to take credit for that achievement. So it is a tableau building and resource management game. And I'll start in the lower left-hand corner of the main table here and start with the resources. So there are 5 resources in total. The first one is prestige, which is just how well renowned our city is and how well respected our citizens are. And all these resources will go up and down this track by the way that we play cards into the tableau. And they are all shared resources as well, which is important.
Okay.
But if we reach up to the top of the prestige track, which is 15, that is a victory condition. But if we head all the way down to the 2, 1, or 0, that triggers lost favor events. And I'll get into individual events in a second, but as you can probably guess, the frowny face means that's not a good thing.
It's not an insta loss. It's not an insta loss, but it's like, ooh, that's going bad.
Yeah, exactly. The next is defense, which is just how well defended our city is from invaders and from natural disasters. So this one's more of a balancing act. And at the very top, you'll notice that there's another frowny face. And that is because people don't want to be under martial law. They're scared of their own military. But at the bottom of the track, there are more frowning faces, which is people are too afraid to sleep in their beds at night. But you'll notice right in the center, there's some people jumping up for joy with some hearts. So those are happiness events. So that's kind of where people are most comfortable with the defense of the city.
Yeah.
So it's like a push your luck. You don't want to get it too high kind of mechanic.
Yeah.
Next is happiness. Go all the way up to the top. You get those happiness events again. But if you start to drop down low, you begin to lose populace every turn. People are unhappy with your rule and they are abandoning your city, which brings us to our last resource that is tracked, which is populace. Reach up to the top and the city is overpopulated, but go all the way down to the bottom and the city is abandoned and everybody loses.
Insta loss.
Yep. Our very last resource is coins, which are shared in this communal coffers. For tabletop simulator purposes, we'll use a tracker because it's annoying to have to drag coins around. But these are used to pay for things out of our hand and play into the city. Any questions on the 5 resources before we dive into how we actually play?
Not yet.
Sweet. All right. So if you'll join me in the center of the table.
Oh, delightful.
The very first card that you'll see there is the tribal center card, and that already exists in the city. So that's where everything is sprouting out from. And on our turn, we will be playing cards into the city, and we'll play to the left or to the right of already played cards, starting with that tribal center. So here we've got an example card, which is the peasant homes. So I can drop it down here. Up at top, it's got a name, which is for the most part just flavor. But then you'll notice there is a center effect right in the center of that says +3, and then the icon for populace. That means that regardless of where you place it in the city, we're going to gain 3 populace. On the bottom left-hand corner is the type of building that we're building. Which will come into play with the next card that I show. And then the right-hand corner is the tribe that it belongs to. So this card is a white one, which means that it's part of all of the tribes. No one tribe gets to claim it. But if you see the icons down here, it will be it'll be the tribe that it represents. And one of that, we will each represent one of them as we play. Other cards that you'll notice have adjacency effects to them. And this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. It's important to note that adjacency effects only take place when you place it. So if a card is already played with an adjacency effect, that doesn't matter. So if I place this one here, we get the +1 populace regardless of where it's placed. But we can also gain 1 heart for placing it next to a home. So because this one's a double home, we get 2 happiness as a result.
Double home.
Whereas if we placed it over here, the tribal center is a home card as well, but we only get 1 happiness. Yep. Yeah. Some cards will have you place them above or below instead. So the first example is an above ground card indicated by the double chevron. These must be played above already played other cards. And then the opposite is an underground card indicated by a single chevron facing down. These must be played below already played cards. The last example of cards that can be played above and below are water cards. So they are indicated by the water droplet. They can be played to the left or to the right of other cards, but they can also be played above and below other water cards. And think of it like a river running through your city.
Very nice.
Some
that
cards...
one's complicated. Whoa.
Yeah, as we dive in, there'll be cards with more and more adjacency bonuses in them. But what I want to bring our attention to is on the top left-hand corner. Some cards will have costs, and those need to be paid as you place the card. So you need to have those coins before you can place it. And then some cards will have needs, and those need to be met before you can place it into the city. So this one has a need of 2 water, which we have here and here, which means we can place it now. The last city card I want to draw our attention to are wall cards. They're played like other cards to the left and to the right, but some of them will have this special icon on them. And that's the between 2 walls icon, and it should be interpreted like this, which is you'll look to the closest wall card, which for us is the tribal center card, and you'll count up the number of building types listed between the walls and gain the resource for each of them. So placing the city wall here doesn't gain us anything because there's no home cards between it. But if we place it over here, it would gain us 2 happiness because it has a double home between the tribal center and the city wall. The last 2 cards are unit cards, and unit cards get played on the unit card mat at the bottom of the main table. And there can be a maximum of 5 of them at one time. So if there is ever 5 there and you want to play another unit card into the unit card mat, you get to choose which one is discarded, and then your card will replace it. Certain unit cards will have this L symbol on them, and that indicates that they're a leader card. They're generally more powerful, and they also count for 2 points in endgame scoring. So as I mentioned before, it's a semi-cooperative game. So if we reach a loss condition, we all lose. But if we reach a victory condition, we have to tally up our score, which is supposed to be presence in the city. So we want to be the most represented in the city of the tribe. And whoever has the most is determined to be the winner. So most cards from your tribe will count as 1, but a leader card will count as 2 if it's on the leader track at the end of the game. Next, I'll go into the event cards. So we saw some of these on the resource trackers. So the way this happens is if you start your turn with a resource tracker covering up one of those icons, you will draw an event card at the beginning of your turn. So as long as that resource stays in that position, you'll keep drawing at the beginning of your turn. So these are, the top one is happiness events. They're generally good for the city. And if we run out of happiness event cards, that's another victory condition. But the bottom ones, the frowning faces, are bad, as you can probably imagine. And if we run out of those, that is another loss condition. The one in the middle is an invader deck. And these are triggered as you discard cards from your hand. So throughout the game, we'll maintain 5 cards in our hand from the shared communal deck. And if at any point you can't play a card or you don't want to play a card from your hand, you have to take a discard action. So you can discard as many cards from your hand as you want, and you'll only have to draw 1 invader card in response. So if you discard 5, you draw 1 invader card. Discard 1, you'll also draw 1 invader card. If you run out of the invader cards, that is also a loss condition.
Hey, Joe, I can't remember. If you discard just 1, do you get to draw back up to 5, or is it 1 for 1?
That's correct. So you draw back up to 5. You'll always have 5 cards in your hand. So as soon as a card leaves your hand, you'll immediately draw back up as well. The last piece that I'll get into, which is more of an experiment for tonight, and this is something that I'm not sure if will be in the main game or if it'll be something added as an expansion, or if it's just terrible and we just abandon it altogether. But so far, I've gotten pretty good responses from it, so we'll see. But these are, I did rename them. Hidden goal cards, we'll keep the name for now.
Okay.
And
Nice.
as they work pretty much like all other hidden goal cards in other games.
What did you change? What did you change the name to?
I've been messing with it. The one I thought I saved it as was hidden motives. So they're supposed to be values that are so ingrained into each tribe that they don't know that themselves that it's there, so they don't express it to the other tribesmen. So each one has a little bit of flavor up at top, representing the value that they embrace. And if you reach the condition listed, you immediately reveal that card, and you'll gain those extra victory points, which are equivalent to the number times the number of cards that you have represented. That was a bad way to explain it. You just add that to your end score. Yeah.
Add the points to the card says.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of them are based on just at the time that you achieve it. Some of them are by the end of the game, so you just hold on to those until the very end. And we'll
that's interesting. Is this a Trevor experiment, or is Trevor's experiment something else?
Oh, Trevor's experiment is something else.
Oh, okay. I'm intrigued.
Which I don't think was in the last time you played either, Jack.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So that'll be fun.
Wait, who else has played this
I don't
game?
even remember what Trevor's experiment was. So it'll be a surprise for me too.
Is it just me and Sasha that have not played this?
Yeah.
Oh,
That was kind of a fun thing we were talking about before the show. How Trevor and Fritz already know each other from the tabletop design partnership, right? TDP.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is it possible to ask questions about some of these things?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, I guess my main questions were: can cards be stacked up multiple times, or is it only one level down?
Nope. You can keep going as tall as you want it.
So, like this down arrow could be beneath a water symbol.
Yep.
Okay. And then the other thing is with the walls. Do the walls count things that are below ground?
They don't. Only in a single line.
Okay.
So some walls will also measure it vertically as well. So it's however you align the closest one. They don't go diagonally though.
Got it. Okay. I think those are my two main questions.
Cool. And the one thing that now that I've talked about hidden goal cards, that symbol there indicates that you draw an extra hidden goal card.
And that draw an extra one is just a random one, not a draw two discard one?
Right. Just draw one.
Got it.
Cool.
And just to reiterate, the objective of the game is to have your tribe have the most buildings or have the most cards in the city, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So you have to balance playing other people's tribal cards, make sure that you don't totally lose the game versus making sure nobody is ahead of you.
Okay.
And then, so I only see one tribal card out here. Is that
Yep.
correct?
That is. All the
Okay.
other, for teaching purposes, were communal cards. This one here, the Noble King, is the only one that is part of a tribe. So that's part of the Peacekeeper tribe. I just had to use that because there are no leader cards in the communal deck.
Okay.
I guess another question. I see there are 6 tribes here. Is your tribe determined at the beginning of the game, or is that something that is determined throughout the game?
That's determined at the beginning of the game. So that'll be the next thing I do is distribute you all tribes. And that is also the Trevor experiment, which is...
I want to play that game. Remember?
We have hidden roles. So nobody knows who each other are in the game. Oops.
Oh,
Sorry. I did that wrong.
except for Evan.
And gets 3 choices.
Come on.
There we go.
Ah, okay, interesting.
So I'm this, and I'm always this.
Correct. Yep. And then
And
what
this
I
is
normally
all
do,
just flavor on the
Yeah.
card. There's no like asymmetric abilities.
no, the only asymmetry that comes into play is with the cards
Like-
themselves in the deck.
And how do I know which tribe I am here on this tribal center?
Oh,
The symbol.
the symbols on the bottom of your card correspond to the tribe as well as the color of the border.
I guess.
the really
Which
the
one
really
are you?
thin border.
Okay. All right. Okay. I see it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. All right. Cool. I got it.
And normally I would have assembled the deck. But I'm interested in y'all's thoughts on how this happens too. So
Mhm.
For those who have played, I don't think you've ever seen me assemble the decks. So what I do is each deck has 30 cards in it. And we'll take 10 cards from each tribe represented. And we'll create a deck out of that. And 12 of the communal deck.
Oh, there you are.
And we will shuffle it.
I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't see this
Yeah.
go board over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a go board.
That's for if you get kicked out early, you got to go play Go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Player elimination
That's
is rough.
That's the other thing that made the publishing very expensive. The additional
The additional go board.
Licensing. Yeah.
I'm going to distribute 5 cards to each of you from the deck. And then I'm going to split the deck into 2. Oops. Sorry, I think I just sent somebody an extra card.
I've got
Yeah, it was
6
Evan.
cards. Here you go.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll
I
reshuffle that
want
into
6
this.
guys.
Okay, cool. And then we take our motive cards or our hidden goals.
Yep.
Or
So you can each draw 2 of those and choose 1. I'm sure you're
Oh,
going to
okay.
love that, Evan.
Oh yeah,
It's Evan's favorite.
it
I was
is.
actually, I didn't know that you didn't like blind drafting
Champ,
until
get it out of
yesterday.
here.
I was watching the playtest this with Jack's game.
Yeah.
And you made a comment about play testing, and I was literally like, I don't actually know what that means, but I think I just added that to my game.
oh, you mean blind
Blind drafting. Yeah.
Blind drafting, yeah, sorry.
Like it.
Um,
Actually, what did I get rid of? Now I'm curious.
I
So are some of these automatic? Like you do it as soon as it happens?
Yep.
Or are
I
they
think-
all automatic? Maybe or no?
Not all of them. Some of them will say at the end of the game, at the end of it.
I think my other one was more interesting, but I chose the one that was more straightforward. And now I'm kind of
Okay.
kicking myself. Oh well, it's fine.
Okay.
It'll work.
You don't need it.
Okay, let's get rid of this one. Where are we putting the discards?
Looks like
Just back.
people have already put it back into the deck, so we can
Okay.
just do that.
Whoa! Who took my card?
Oh,
Haha.
That's fine. I'll just draw a new one. I don't really care.
Okay.
All
Did
right.
you
I'm
lose your
wondering-
tribal card too?
Nope, I'm just
Okay, don't have it in your hand. Got it.
not going in my hand.
Perfect.
Wait, who took my other card? Just taking my stuff. Just trying to put some stuff down here
Why
out of the
you have a
way.
hand
This is my
sticking
tribal
out,
card over here.
going on the
Yeah.
table.
Yep.
All right. Gonna go over here.
Cool.
All right.
Do the
Okay.
symbols on the back of the cards mean anything?
Yeah, so those are the tribe that they represent. So that actually comes into play when you're drawing cards. So if you go over to the left hand side table labeled city cards, there's one draw deck that is face down and one draw deck that is face up. The face up one, you know exactly what you're getting, but the face down one is a bit more of a gamble, but it does tell you what tribe you'll be drawing from.
So was this deck just split in half, or how was this set face up and face down?
Oh, it was split in half, but looks like one card migrated from one to the other.
It
Oh,
was
Gotta
that
be Evan.
card
Gotta
stealing.
be Evan.
Let's see. Somebody's moving cards around.
Okay, so we can essentially see what people have in their hand and see that whether they're playing or not playing it, and then get suspicious of them.
yeah,
Okay.
this is the first time I've played with a full group for this hidden role game, which is going to be fun. And it's also the first time I've played where I wasn't playing, so that's also fun.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah. So the way the game starts, as the fun little starter rule, is whoever visited a new city most recently.
Oh,
Like one you've never been to?
Yeah.
oh,
Like I'm in a city right now.
a new city.
I feel like it's been over a month for me. I don't know.
I
don't
think you have
go
me beat.
anywhere.
Oh yeah, I'm talking like years.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I don't go anywhere ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to Anaheim to Disneyland recently, but that wasn't a new city to me.
It also depends if we are talking about like towns, because I don't know if it would be considered a city.
I think a town is fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
How big is the populace? I need to know.
Yeah, what's the cutoff?
What was the primary tribe in the city? What were they known for?
4,500 people or more.
Okay.
I'd actually like to measure it off population density. I think
Yeah,
that's more
yeah,
accurate.
yeah.
Yeah.
There were
Yeah.
only 5 people, but they all lived in the same house.
Yes.
Oh, here's what we can
Perfect.
do. Here's what we can do, Sasha. Adjust the pawns for prestige, defense, happiness, and populace, and we'll try to guess.
Got it. What
This-
what city? I got our town. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
you
yeah,
should
yeah,
go
yeah.
first.
It's a party game.
Okay. And so I just play a card a turn, and then
Yeah.
do I draw at the end of my turn?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we'll continue down the table. So moving to the right.
Play a card, draw a card.
Let me
Nice.
just look at the symbols again. Okay.
What am I in? I'm not.
Hmm.
And one more time, what's the win condition, Joe?
Oh, it is you reach the top of the prestige track, or you run out of. Oh, I forgot to split the happiness cards too. Otherwise, you were about to play a very long game. You only play with 6 of them, but there comes with 20. Oops. Run out of happiness cards.
Okay.
And what about these guys? The sad face cards.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's a loss condition,
But there
and
should be 20.
there should be 6 as well.
Okay.
Whoa.
So they're just extra in order to provide some variety. And same with the invaders. Also, if you'd like to know the end game conditions, they are listed on the player aids on the side. You can take one of them, or you can just use them as a reference.
Where's the player aid?
Evan,
On the
you
side of
take
the
one.
table.
Whoa.
Take one, Evan. You know you want to.
And what are
Are they all the same?
They
What
are. They're double-sided.
what are invader cards like? Is it like
Oh yeah.
I just to get an
That's-
idea?
I'll reshuffle these.
Okay.
But here's we'll start with the top population boom. Everyone wants to live in your great city. They pour in every corner of the city, increase populace by the number of home cards in the city. So that's a happiness event. The invader cards, it has been evident that your traders were fooled with cheap trinkets in exchange for their fine wares. Lose 1 happiness for every market card in the city, max of 6. And then lost favor, revolt. The people have taken to the streets and began burning images of their oppressors. If your defense is less than 8, lose 1 populace for every road. Discard any leader cards as well.
The rabble. Ah, yes.
Rabble. Nice. Okay.
I think I want to discard.
Okay.
Um, so I just like choose how many I want to discard and then
Yep.
okay.
Then you put it in the discard pile on the side table.
Go with
Is there like a trader in this? Is he being a trader? What's going on?
Secret trader.
Or is he a trader? Oh.
Oh.
well, some cards have a high cost that
Sorry.
Yeah.
makes it not really.
Sorry, not sorry.
Okay.
I guess I should get my cards so I'm ready to play. Who's sitting where? That's Jack, right?
I sit
No, that's
Yes,
Evan.
that's
wherever
me.
I choose.
That's Jack.
That's me. I'm at the end.
And this is
Um,
Sasha.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
I got Evan in between me. I still got time to
I'm
think.
gonna discard 3 cards. So this goes to the discard pile over here. Right?
Yep.
Okay. And I draw 3 cards and we get an invader.
Yep.
So invader comes
Blue.
zealots.
A new cult has been introduced to your populace from a violent tribe outside of the valley. They demand human sacrifice and are
Obviously.
difficult to weed out.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Equal to the number of down. That's 1. We lose 1 population.
Or we could lose 4 defense to
Nah. That seems bad.
So
He is a
Who's in
trader.
charge of
Discard the
choosing?
tribal center.
Who's in charge of
Anarchy.
Who's in charge of choosing what we actually do?
The person who drew it.
okay. So yeah, I guess we'll just lose a populace.
Yep.
Okay.
Ooh, all right.
Very near death.
Is it my turn or is it Evan's turn next?
Goes to the right. So I think that's
Oh,
you,
okay.
Jack.
Oh, cool. Very simple one for me, I think. I am just gonna go ahead and build a whoops, sorry. Yeah, build a dock.
Obviously.
So Jack.
I'm just gonna build a dock and then I'll draw a card. Where's the
Alright.
deck? Over here on the side table.
So, yeah.
So I can draw.
Can't draw from the discard, but you can draw from either of the 2 draw piles.
Oh,
okay.
and with my 3 draws, I could have drawn from the discard as well.
Yes.
Got it.
And if you have
Right,
multiple draw cards that you're drawing, you're welcome to mix and match between the 2 decks as
got
well.
it. Okay.
Okay, so that's my turn.
Is it me?
Yep.
Okay, so I have a few questions. How do I get points?
The points at the end are calculated by the number of cards from your tribe that are in the city.
Okay. And leaders.
And leaders. Leaders count
And-
as 2 points. And the hidden goal cards give you points as well.
And if we all survive, that's what we're going to look at to see.
Yes.
Got it.
Although I think actually, whose screen is that? green's next, so I don't think it actually is your turn. Sorry, it's
Yeah,
Trevor.
it's Trevor.
Yes. It's me.
Yes.
Uh,
Sasquatch?
Something like that.
Sasquatch. Oh, Sasha.
hmm. Oh no, I gotta plug in. 1 sec.
Okay.
Battery's dying. I was trying not to be ghetto this time and actually be at a table, but back to my roots.
Poor choice.
Back to your roots.
Yeah. There, I'll leave it like that so you can just see the top of my
Yeah,
head.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep. So
Okay.
Trevor.
Okay, back to the game.
I like how the pen thickness wasn't quite to your liking, Sasha.
I was just looking at the image on the coin, the little
Oh yeah.
Hercules guy or something.
Yeah, I don't really know what that is, but it was just an image that I had for something else entirely. But I needed a coin that could be flipped and have a different image on both sides.
Oh, okay.
Whereas my other one was just like a plain yellow disc. But then
nice.
I realized if you make a token, you can't flip it.
Yeah.
It just does that.
Oh, Sasha's going 90s metal band.
Sweet.
Uh-oh, that's Evan's specialty.
It's true. Trevor, aren't you taking a turn?
I'm trying.
Okay.
I've tried. It's one of those TTS things where in real life this would go much quicker.
Yeah, the cards
it-
are a lot harder to
They
read.
always
Is
say
it
that.
is it though, Trevor?
They always.
No, it's not.
I'd be much quicker in person,
Thank
I
you.
swear.
Yeah.
I promise.
It might be a Trevor issue. Okay, no, that costs too much. You know what? I'm gonna put us in more peril. I'm gonna discard my whole hand.
You sons of guns.
Okay.
How am I gonna win if you lose it for me?
If so Fritz, if we burn through the common deck, what happens? Do we just reshuffle the discard pile to make a new draw pile?
You don't. So one of the lost conditions is to have no cards that you can play anymore. So
Okay,
if you run out of cards,
I forgot that rule. Let's not do that. I'll just do something else here. Let's do that one. It's not. No, that's horrible. Let's not do that. So if I play a card down and it doesn't match anything that's beside it, like does one of the symbols have to match
nope.
beside it? No.
You get to just you just don't get any benefits from it.
I gotcha. Okay. Let's do. Does it cost me anything? No. Let's do this.
And that's actually above ground card. So that'll be played above one of these two cards.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Cool.
Nice. Plus one king.
Lies.
Plus one king.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I do
Plus one
one
king.
heart, right?
No, that's
Yeah, but
Yeah.
don't I get +1 because this is a thingy?
but you don't have anything to your left or right, so nothing up there.
Mhm.
Oh, I was thinking down. Never mind.
See the little
Okay,
arrows?
Okay. +1 king.
Plus one king.
I didn't vote for him.
That's not my king. Okay. Let's see. So now it's my turn. Obviously I'm gonna do probably the best thing that anybody's done yet.
Yeah, do the best thing. That sounds good.
How many coins do I have?
We start with 5.
Oh, I get to
Shared
spend.
amongst
I get to spend
it's
everybody's coin. I love that.
You do.
yeah, without even
Everybody's
consulting
going.
us.
I love it.
I really hope I didn't help anybody.
But you better not.
Better not. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna play by the rules and be a complete gentleman. Now, what is the hand clapping icon?
It means a spiritual building.
And what's that? Oh, it's just it's a building icon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't have any of those out right
Nope.
now.
And how do you get more cards to go back up to 5? Or do you just draw as soon as you play one?
Oh, you just draw as soon as you play one.
And I can draw top or top, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, that's a lot of stuff that cares about a lot of stuff that I don't care about. I'm just gonna do this S of a G
Nice.
right here, and I'm gonna go up some population. We're gonna get happy and we're gonna get frisky, right? I got,
Right.
and
Did
then
that last time.
and then do that every time, and then I'm gonna draw a card. Is that true?
Yep.
Cool.
From either deck.
All right, done. Oh.
So I'm curious. I have a card that does something with something above it, but it doesn't. It's not able to play below something.
Right.
How would that trigger?
You'd have to play card. You'd have to plan it out basically in order to get it. So you'd have to
an overhang.
Yeah.
Got it. So can an overhang, like, can something be just played right here?
Yep. And it doesn't need to be an above ground card to be played there.
Got it. Okay.
The public bath doesn't like to be around any spiritual buildings.
Got it.
No.
It's funny.
Okay.
I'm glad you thought so.
Yeah.
Nudity?
Unacceptable.
Okay, so that's on top of something. Okay, second.
That's what this guy says. Unacceptable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looks like he's constantly on the lookout for a
He-
public bath.
He does
too close to
not.
the temple.
He does not like a good time. That one.
And can the tribal center be covered?
Yes.
Okay.
How can
I'm
you
just-
cover cards? You can just cover a card anytime.
Only if it says it.
Yeah, like this, for
Oh.
example. So this gives us a defense,
Mhm.
and then I get another in-game card.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to play a city market right next to the docks, and that's
Sweet.
going to earn us what?
3 coins in total.
Yeah, 3 coins.
3 coins.
Boop, boop, boop. And then I'll draw a card. Let's see. Holy place.
Oh yeah, wait, I'm supposed to draw a card. I didn't draw one yet. I
Holy
don't want the holy
place.
place, so you can have
Man.
it.
Oh wait, there is a religious place now. Just that.
It wasn't there before.
Oh. And somebody drew a hidden secret?
Did you draw a card, Sasha?
I did.
You did? Okay,
Yeah, I have.
cool.
I have now.
He did it
Okay.
secretly.
Sweet. Your turn, Trevor.
Okay. I think this is what
Home
I'm looking for.
Shrine.
Yeah. Let's play that. I know I can't play it, but just give me a second. I think I can play that there, correct?
Yep.
And now would it be better to get the money. I'm gonna cost the money. Gonna get that. We get 2 kings. What are we more short of?
Prestige.
Yeah, let's do that.
Name of the game.
I don't know if
All right.
I don't know
so
if
I
we
get-
can suffer that many kings.
I cost $1 or a doubloon or whatever.
If this
I
one's
get-
just a singlet, not a doublet.
I get 2 crowns because I
Yep.
get 1 because I put it next to this card, and the roads don't play, but the other crown is an automatic. Oh, and I get to draw a card. Is that
Yeah.
what that meant?
Yep,
Okay, and those cards are from here.
correct.
And it's just 1, not 2 this
Just
time?
one. Yeah.
Okay. And I paid my $1, and I did not take the 2 crowns yet. Did anybody else take those for me?
I didn't. Oh,
No. Okay, so we're up to 7 prestige. And what happens if we hit 15? We win.
We win. No,
Yeah.
we get. Oh yeah, yes.
Well, the
One of
game is
you
over.
wins. Yeah.
Someone wins.
Okay,
We end the
Yeah.
game and score.
not me. Is what you're saying.
what
We're
what
all
is it?
winners.
What is the significance of this not having like it's not a communal card, but it's not a tribe card?
That is a misprint. That should
Got
have a
it.
communal symbol there.
Got it.
Oh, I want to take that back. No, just kidding.
Oh, Trevor.
So that should be
Alright.
that should be a wall card. Is that what that
Yeah.
is? Because it's white.
Who's
No,
that?
No, it's communal,
Just
which is the triangles. With
Who's
circles.
after Trevor?
you are.
It's me.
Nobody.
Yeah.
No one. Remain one. Well then. If I had to play a card, for every card I would play several. None of the.
Do covered cards count for scoring at the end of the game?
They don't.
No. Okay.
Oh, those are minuses. What? You son of a gun. Well,
And how does it work? Is it every card that you have from your tribe out there is 1 point? Is that what it is?
Yes, except for the leader units, which are 2.
so can I just put this wherever, like right over here?
Yep.
The
long as
chevrons
the-
are not really a.
So that it didn't need the underground, even though it's under a card.
Because you can play it off of the public bath card.
Got it. Okay.
Well, we're gonna gain another step towards victory. And I draw a card. Whoop. Whoop. All right.
Okay. I think I'm just gonna do this bell tower, which is just gonna give us 2 crowns. That's it. Does cost 2 gold, remember?
Victory. Victory.
One,
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Victory.
Then I draw. That's my turn.
Ooh. Man. Well, I think I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna build a toll gate right here, which is a wall card. And it's between. Oh man. No, I'm not.
Do it.
This thing.
Don't do it.
ruined my also I
Way to go,
can't-
home shrine.
let's see. I think I'm gonna need what's our happiness?
Pretty good.
Yeah, that's all right.
I
That means if we're
Happiness.
happy or not happy. That's what happiness is.
Okay.
Pretty
I
good.
don't actually have any cards I can play.
We're
which is
pretty close to
interesting.
being so unhappy we lose population. Suggestive
Let's see.
thumbs.
Is there anything I can play? I can't do that one. I can't do that one. I
Oh,
can't
he's
do that one.
sandbagging it. He's sandbagging it.
I can't do that one. I could. Well, I could do that one, I
You
suppose.
could do anything you like.
But
You can do it.
You can do it.
hmm.
This is super intriguing.
I'm in a dilemma. What's intriguing?
Just not playing and being in the DM role, because now I can like watch you go through your own decision processes, which I've
Yeah,
never been able to see before.
It's really good step to like be there, just running a playtest. It's like and then the next step after that is the blind playtest,
Yeah.
where you can sit there but you can't help us.
So I get to discard cards. Okay, how's that discard mechanic work? I can discard any cards from my hand in the discard pile and draw an invader card. And then I just get to draw one card.
Yeah. You'll draw back cards up to 5 for your hand, and you draw one invader card.
You can get rid of as many as you
Yeah,
want. It's gonna
discard
cost
as
the
many as
same
you
number.
want.
Let's burn through this deck.
Burn through the deck. Burn through the deck.
Burn the village.
Burn the
Do it.
village.
Do
Burn
it.
the
Burn
village.
the
Kill
village.
us.
Burn the village.
We're gonna coast in with a ton of prestige and one
Oh.
population.
Yeah. I know, no kidding.
Oh, wait till you see what I'm gonna play.
Old Steven's still gonna be living in the tower in the
He's really
sculptor
well-renowned.
studio, but he's really well renowned up in that bell
Oh,
tower.
I can't play it. Oh,
Okay,
no.
I'm gonna get rid of 2 cards.
Can't play the card I want to play.
3
Really
cards.
screw us.
Well,
Really screw us.
Well, plus this guy's still around, disapproving of everything.
okay, I'm gonna get rid of these 2 cards. And then I'm gonna draw 3 cards or 2 cards. Just 2. Because I draw a card at the end of my turn also, right?
You'll draw all of them at the same
You
time.
draw back up to 5 at the end.
Yeah. So as soon as a card leaves your hand, you draw cards back.
Oh.
Okay. Okay.
Sculptures. Frivolous.
Okay, so I discarded cards, so then I also have to draw an invader card. So the invader is a skirmish. Your patrols have been attacked by small bands of enemies. Quickly escape as soon as they arrive. Lose
Obviously.
2 defense and 2 people for every road card beyond the outermost wall card. Max
Do we
of
have any
4
roads?
each.
I don't think we have any roads.
We don't have any walls.
Yeah. No roads
Yeah.
or walls, so nothing happens.
Oh,
Nothing
okay,
happens.
Except you're one step closer to loss with the invader deck.
Cool.
Because if that runs out, you lose.
Oh, ho, ho.
Hmm.
You only redraw so many times.
Oh. Is it my turn?
Yeah, Trevor, your turn.
Man, oh man.
Yes?
There's not great options here.
Man, oh, war.
Man, oh. What's
Man
that
of War.
say? That's
Nice.
Little marine life reference, no big deal.
I thought that was a
Okay.
metal reference.
Oh, that's true too. No.
Or Magic the Gathering.
Right?
Oh, true. Man, so many good. That was a quadruple
No
reference.
big deal. 2 colorless,
Good job.
1 blue, bouncy
Okay,
bouncy
let's
creature
make
from
one
your
there.
side, no big deal.
I just have to figure out where I'm putting it.
I think that's Man of War, right?
Yeah, it's about any creature, I think.
Yeah,
But
okay.
yeah.
Money, happiness, what
Pretty much.
is that?
I haven't actually played Magic in a really long time, but I'm like, oh, Man of War, yep.
That would
Yeah.
be good.
He's a 2/2.
Yep.
Wow. Nice. That's from your game shop days.
Oh, dude. I've played so many thousands of hours of Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
So many thousands.
Yeah, I've heard that like 90+% of revenue in game stores comes from either MTG, usually from CCGs of some kind.
I mean, there's slightly different models, but generally speaking, that's true. 90% of revenue is probably high, but the revenue is higher than the net because of the markdown
Yeah.
on the packs that you sell.
Yeah.
Because stores don't sell them at retail usually. Wait, is it my turn?
No, it's still
Okay.
Trevor's turn.
I make sure I'm not just going off on random shop talk.
We all know it takes Trevor forever.
Back when I owned my game store.
Okay, so this is not money or the castle, so it
It's the
doesn't
slums.
do anything.
We get two
And
+2 population.
two
I get
people.
2 population, and I'm going to destroy this card.
Whoa!
Yeah, so destroyed cards work in that they get flipped over and they no longer count towards the end game scoring. But that opens up a restore action, so you can discard from your hand 1 card and flip that card back over without drawing an invader card. And anybody can do it.
Does it activate again?
It does not activate. It'll just be present again.
Got it.
So hold on a sec. That was 2 populous, right?
Yep.
So I'm at 6. And then what was that? We flip this over, and then what happened?
Somebody on a later turn can discard a card to flip it back up as their turn.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I don't do that now. I
No,
gotcha.
no.
And wait, did you say that does do an invader or does not do an invader?
Does not.
Okay.
Can you build over destroyed cards?
Yes, you can. So you can build over to cover
Okay.
it up, and you can no longer restore that card.
Okay.
The
Cool.
first one to restore that card. We know what you are. Oh, I have to draw a card. Okay. And then I'm done.
Is it me? Is it me? Is it Shmee? Do I go?
Yeah.
It's Shmee. I am gonna discard.
I don't know.
So many cards. Well, no, maybe I can get our prestige.
Uh-oh. How many did I draw?
I want to get that prestige going. How many of those cards do we have? What? I don't have any of those cards. That was
Right
silly.
now, the sunny guys are winning.
That was silly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is.
by a long shot.
Yeah.
We need the
I'm just looking. Sorry.
people cards. Okay, well, I should save that. Needs 10 people. Oof, I don't know if we're ever gonna get there. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just the discard here.
The face down sideways.
Boop. Boop. And then I'm gonna draw 4 cards. Let's go 2.
I'm the only one that hasn't
And
screwed
2.
us.
Got it. And then
I really feel like maybe I'm trying to build my own city.
am I the only one who cares? Let's see. It has become evident that traders were fooled with cheap trinkets in exchange for their fine wares. Or were they? Lose 1 heart for every cash
Yeesh.
bag type
That's not
card
good.
currently in your city. Max 6.
Okay, we have
2.
2.
All right, we lose 2
So
hearts.
there's 2
That is
happiness.
Not good.
Boop, boop, boop. Whoa.
Okay.
That was
All right.
close.
All right.
You guys should stop discarding. That was
So-
close.
I feel like the slums player is the sun player just because like
Who played the slums?
green, right?
Oh, I wish I had one of my cards out there.
Oh, slums doesn't have a.
No, but
Oh.
it destroyed the one thing that wasn't.
Oh, Trevor, you.
It is true.
Sneaky.
But if you also look on every other card, it would have cost us something if I had put it beside it.
This one?
Would have
Regular?
cost us. Yeah, it would have cost us if I'd put that.
Right now,
Well,
right here.
Okay, well, I
Would've
didn't
cost
see
us.
that.
Okay. Yeah.
Just
Would've
because I'm
cost us
stupid
everything.
doesn't mean I'm a traitor.
I think
I didn't
I-
actually notice that there were 3 suns out there before. That's a good point.
I will discard this card to put this up.
I got nervous.
Oh, fancy.
Oh, so who's a pot boy?
Oh, so
Is that what you call
Sasha,
it? Pot boy? Yeah. that looks-
I think I'll rename the tribes to that.
Sasha equals pots. Got it.
I actually didn't realize I could do anything else. So
Trevor
No. I already played the stupid card.
equals
Okay.
sons.
Trevor is not suds.
That it's written on the board. He can't undo it. Can't
Man.
undo it.
There is no eraser.
Wait, what do the pots look like?
that's beautiful.
Wait, I'm not done.
Well, you're off to a great start.
Thank you.
It's like
That's great.
it's italic.
That's really nice.
Wait, whose turn is it? Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Great. I'm going to play a
When nobody is the one that's out there, oh, then the point doesn't happen.
Well, they didn't. The tribes that aren't in the deck are not. There's no cards for them.
Correct.
Gotcha. So when it
But
was
in certain
okay.
situations, there will be where if you have a 3-player game, you still use 4 tribes.
Okay.
And that extra tribe just counts as extra communal cards.
Cool.
They can't win the game.
Son of a.
There are 3 intruders left. I think I'm gonna discard everything.
You're discarding again?
I'm gonna discard everything in my hand.
Holy
So,
smokes.
That's got to be one of your secret goals, man. Discard eight times in a game.
I think Jack's the son because he's discarded twice. He's just hanging out with his 3 points up there.
I know.
I got 2 secret cards,
okay.
dude.
So I'll do that, and then I will reveal a thing. Let's see. Raiders in the night. Barbarians have used the shadow of night to sneak into the homes of your soldiers and dispose of them in their sleep. Wow. Reduce the defense by 1 for each house card.
Ooh, that's
in
gonna
the
be bad.
city. 1, 2, 3.
House card or house
4,
symbol?
4.
Card.
Well, house symbol.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay. Sorry, I
So,
read it.
yeah.
Oh, no, it does say house card. So that
Okay,
is
so that's
1
only
for
3.
card.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. That's a sad
Oh.
face.
Boo.
That's a sad face.
Disgust.
do-
The water
You
in
don't
the
draw
city.
that yet, Jack.
Oh, okay.
Trevor will draw it, which, but I
Have
mean,
you
at the
guys
end,
been
if it's-
drinking before
Okay.
we started building the city?
Yeah, we're bad at this.
Yeah.
We said we were going to meet at 8 a.m. and start building, right? Where is Jack? Where is Jack?
I totally lost the center. I don't even know where the center of the city is anymore.
Evan literally has a wine glass in his hand.
I don't even like any of this stuff. I'm not gonna build it.
Oh my goodness.
So if that's the end of your turn, Jack.
Yeah, I'm
now
done.
we will draw. Trevor, you'll draw the first lost favor card before.
Oh,
taking your turn.
joy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And it's going to
That's this
affect
one?
you. It's going to
That's
affect you.
this one.
Yeah.
Trevor's
All right.
actions are going to directly negatively.
The water in the city has turned sour.
Oh
and
no.
Made your people sick.
Oh, we've got
Oh, what
3
a
of those.
surprise.
We got 3 of those.
Lose 1 peoples for every blood card, a water card, currently in the city, and lose 3 hearts.
Okay, we lose 3 people and 3 hearts. Do we lose the game? Or just draw another one of those cards?
Uh,
Oh, it's a
down
minor.
to
Trevor will
population
take
every
his turn.
1, 2, 3. Water?
1, 2,
And-
3 people.
Yeah.
And 3
Okay.
hearts.
So 3 peeps.
3 hearts goes
We-
1.
I think Evan already moved it.
Oh, I moved the people down.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
And 3
happiness. 1, 2, 3. And we lose 2 people.
Oh man.
Nope. At the start
No.
of your turn, you'll
We lose a people.
lose 1. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So all the symbols on the resource cards indicate for at the start of your turn that effect happens. So Trevor still gets to take his turn.
I don't want my turn anymore. Not only did you screw my ability to play my card, you're killing us. Okay.
Ooh.
All right, you guys, we really need to shore up our defenses and really start making some babies up in here. Get happy, you know what I mean? Jack?
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
Jack, what are you doing? Wait, don't invite them in. What? No.
We need more people.
Okay.
Come on
we need
in.
to.
We don't have walls, man.
So
Jack's
do
like,
I
ooh, they left a pretty
do
wooden
I-
horse outside.
do that?
Yeah,
Was
exactly.
it a horse or a
Exact-
rabbit? I think it might have been a rabbit. Okay. So
We never get gifts. It's good.
run away, run away.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna play this one.
For me?
Because no,
Ooh, prestige,
sad.
we win.
just deciding where to put it. No, not quite.
We almost win.
I'm trying to get us closer, even though you guys seem to have a different plan. It's gonna cost us all our money.
Well, then how am I going to build our happiness back up if you spend all our money?
I don't know. That's on you.
All right, fair enough. That's on you, buddy.
But if I put it next to a money thing, do we have a money bag anywhere I can put it?
There's a couple of
there.
money bags.
That would lower our hands thingy. That is.
There's a couple of money bags.
What is that?
What are you
What
looking
is
at?
that? What does that symbol mean? Oh, that's just if there is a next to it, then it would be -1. Okay, I
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay, so there's only money on that, so that's pretty safe, I think. So it gets $1 back. It gives us 3 prestige. 1, 2, 3. I don't know why I'm advancing this because I am nowhere near winning this game.
Sure, Mr. Sun.
And we get a whole $1 back.
Well, you can clearly see here that he's denying that he is the son, and he has corroborated that you are the pops.
Yes,
What?
exactly.
Okay. Well, I happen to have.
Something good.
Oh wait.
Before you go, we do have to reduce populace by 1, and you have to draw a new lost favor card.
Oh, because
Before I go, or
Good luck.
before he starts his turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
we're at the end of both of those tracks,
I reduced the populace by 1.
and we have to draw a what?
Lost favor card?
One of these.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Flip a flip. Disrepair. Being surrounded by rubble and shattered windows has led your citizens. Oh, they've led them to disregard the state of the remaining city buildings. See it start to slip, you let it all go. Destroy any cards immediately adjacent to cards currently destroyed in the city.
I was doing everyone a favor. by
Destroy
doing
cards
Nice.
covered by other cards.
Is
Do not qualify.
why did we draw that, Fritz?
Because of this one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Defense is
okay.
still a little
We
too
had
low.
no defense.
Oh, so you do that every turn?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Every
Yeah.
turn that you're resting on top.
So
Yeah.
let it be known that I am the keeper and protector of the realm. I shall bring us hence from our awfulness.
Save us.
And
Save us, Evan.
And so
Fix it.
so shall it be done. Oop, you took the spot that I needed. Never mind.
No.
You took the spot I needed. You actually ruined us all.
Who is our city planner? It's definitely not me.
Uh,
I don't think I've actually built anything in this.
yeah. You ruined everything. Not gonna lie.
I ruined everything.
I mean,
Yes.
I didn't want to call you out like that, but you
It's true.
closed off my access. Oh wait, I can build on top of other buildings. Is that true?
You can
If
build on
you-
top of destroyed buildings, and if a card says that you can place on top or
Do any-
place to cover, you
Do any
can.
cards
Otherwise, you
say
can't.
that?
Yeah, like this one
in
says
your hand.
special.
Oh, that card could be placed on top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no.
Wow. Well, you've really screwed us.
You're welcome.
So I'll play this here, where it doesn't give us a heart, but it will still give us 2 defense.
Nice.
There you go.
I was gonna get us out of the doldrums, and you were like, nah,
Yeah.
because we don't have
Jack's just gonna draw again anyway.
we don't have any walls, right, for me to put this next to.
Mm,
Jack's
no.
just gonna kill us on his turn.
Just you watch.
Okay, that was all I got.
Okay.
Oh, I get to draw.
So
What's
then
the-
the start my turn, population goes
that's-
down, populace goes down.
Yep.
Get us more
So-
people.
Jack's turn, we immediately lose.
We lose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you can fix that.
I don't
Jack
believe I
can-
can.
Jack can go on his turn.
Okay.
It's at the end of the turn that
Got it.
the game will end.
Oh.
I thought it was at the start of the turn that the thing.
Yeah, but you get to play out the full turn. I guess something that I've struggled with communicating.
Yeah.
Got it.
But
So in
Well,
other words, unless we get happiness, we're dead.
I can't give us 2 happiness.
Trevor, you should have thought of that before you blocked off our bags.
That's true. I should have drew as dead. That's what everybody else
That's
was
what you
doing.
should
I don't know what I was thinking.
Now, what kind of table talk is there supposed to be regarding, like, hey, Trevor, don't put it there, because I can help us if you don't?
you're welcome to share as much as you want.
Oh, so I should have done that. So really,
So it's on Evan.
so really,
I see.
'tis my bad.
So I have no way of giving us populace.
All you need to do is
So-
give us happiness. 2 happiness. is what we need.
I can give us 1 happiness, or that's it.
What if I told Trevor to not put it right here?
Just do
You
what
mean-
you can, Sasha.
Okay.
Back.
That's fine. It's fine. We
Do
can't
what you
backtrack.
can.
It's fine. We should backtrack.
We have.
I
what
think we should
have.
die because I am not the sun.
Here comes the sun.
Hmm.
I don't even know if I've met any of my goals. Let's see. It
Or
won't
if you
matter
can give
we
us
die,
2
though, right?
prestige, we win.
So, yeah, 2 of the cards that give us, yeah,
Prestige.
we don't have any money.
No,
Um,
Evan spent that.
You spent all of it. I spent
Hey, I only
1.
spent 5. You spent the last $1.
I see how it is.
huh.
Oh, wait.
Um,
I take the fall for everybody, huh?
well, I will go. Feels silly.
It's just sitting there. I'm going to die.
I guess.
No, Dr. Jones. Expect you to die.
The funny thing is, I could give us 1 prestige. So if we get to 15 on,
Then at the end of your turn, we win. Right?
but what if it's the same turn that we're at 0 on here?
It's a class.
Um,
That's a classy win. The paradox. This guy is the only survivor. He is
Yeah.
not happy about it.
One guy is very prestigious.
I've never had that happen before, but I would lean towards the win just
Okay.
because it feels better if you're like struggling that hard to take
Interesting.
away the win.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'm just going to go here.
Gargoyles.
A
Ooh.
card may be placed on already. Good.
Nothing.
Oh. So the game's gonna end. We're gonna die.
Oh, and unless we get 2 prestige.
Interesting. Okay. So
So you just put more pots out as we die slowly,
Yeah.
and you're not gonna help in any way.
Well, I can't actually get us out
He's
of the
hoping-
problem. So I could either be
he's just
tied
hoping-
for symbols
yeah.
and hope for prestige, or it's like
It seems like something Pot
That's
Guy would
that
do.
is low. That
Okay.
is low.
So
That
so
seems
let's
like
see.
that seems like a total
It's-
pot maneuver.
I lose no matter what I do.
So it is my turn, right?
Right.
Okay. So
At the
we
start of your
lose-
turn,
okay.
Fix
So
it,
does
Jack.
this mean
Fix it.
does this mean our game is over no
at the
matter
end
what?
at the end of your
At-
turn,
If you don't fix it by the end of the turn.
Oh, I can fix it. Here,
you
I'll
have to
fix
get us to either here.
Oh, he's
There
gonna
you go.
fix it.
Oh, what'd you do? What'd you do?
it. I built peasant homes.
Oh,
They had 3 populace.
That's nice.
Oh, look at
Look
you.
at that.
Boop.
Okay. All right.
I fixed it.
Okay.
I
Okay.
did one thing right.
I
Your
like
turn,
it.
Trevor.
Now we still
Okay,
lose a
Drawing
pop.
card.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting
I
to go.
drew it.
So
Now, Trevor, you still have to lose a population at the start of your turn because we're
Yeah.
so happy.
I just
why
I
do
just
I
brought
lose a
us down.
populace?
because we're still down on happiness.
Mhm.
Oh, that makes that go
I
down. Okay,
I
got it.
already moved this for you.
So is it at 3 or 2?
It's at 2 now.
It should be at 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I can't play that now. Dang it.
Son of a gun. Son of
Yeah.
a gun.
That's not good. Okay, and can I play that? No, we don't have any of that. Okay, that's out. I don't have that. I don't have that.
Yeah, there's a
Don't
few
have that.
symbols we don't really have out there, huh? Unfortunate.
Our city doesn't need walls.
Where
Like,
we're
so
going,
Four roads.
where we're
only
going, we don't
card I
need
can
walls.
play- Oh, this is gonna look really bad. But essentially, you guys are completely wrong. But I don't care. It's the
Is it
only
a
card I
sun?
can
Are you
play.
playing a sun?
It is a sun.
Oh, that's son of a.
Why? Why are
And
you furthering the
It's a
lead?
freaking leader card.
+1
Um,
for every frowny card drawn. Ooh, that's pretty good, actually.
And I get one of those cards.
Yeah.
What, that one?
So it's 2.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that counts as 2.
Nice.
Yeah, congratulations to whoever has sense.
Nice.
Well, you just
Very
drew a
good.
hidden goal, though, right?
Very
did.
good.
And you put out another sun card. So that seems pretty good for you. Now, at the start of...
I got a question,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe. Can you look at this card and
Yeah.
tell me what I'm supposed to do with that now?
What do I do?
As
Or
it,
does it
Oh, yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
nullify?
yeah, that one's nullified for you. Sorry.
Okay,
You could. There could be things that happen that lead you to be able to do it, but
yeah, okay.
Okay, so start
I
of my
figured that was the
turn,
case.
we lose a population because no one cares about the people or their happiness.
No.
Okay. Whoa. Oh, there we go. All right, we're almost dead.
Almost.
So now, if I can play this card, I might be able to get us out of this. Okay, so tell me, where can I play this to give us the +3 population? Can I play it above the slums?
No.
You can't because it's not an above card. So the only place you can play above another card is in here
But
because you
that-
play it to the left or to the right.
But that
But it
wouldn't give
doesn't
us
give
the...
you the right.
And I can play it
Yeah.
on top of a people card, but we don't have any people cards. All right, well, that's not the fix that I was hoping for. I was hoping to get our people home. or at least let my people go. Um,
Oh, and I forgot to draw.
because if I played that, then we would just be dead. If I didn't get the +3 population. There. What else can I? Now, do we have any walls out there?
No,
Okay, because that's another thing I could do to help. But
I know. No walls.
Because so this one, just to verify, means
Yeah.
for each house between two walls,
Mhm.
+1 happy.
Correct.
But we don't have any walls out.
Nope.
Okay, so I cannot increase our happiness that way. Got it. That's a bunch of minuses. +1. Ooh, how many of those cards are in the discard pile? Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Wait.
This is the discard pile here,
Yeah,
and I get to look,
you do.
okay? Even though it's face down.
Yeah.
Okay.
I usually have it face up. I just
Okay.
didn't notice that it was played.
So
face down.
there's 2 of these. Oh no, that's number 2. So there are 2 of those cards in the discard pile. So I will play this card, and we will win.
What's the card? This one?
He hasn't played it yet.
Now the downside is it is a pot, and that'll have. Now what happens if you tie? What if I don't play a pot and we tie?
A tie is broken by whichever. You add up the costs of the cards, and whoever has the highest cost wins.
Oh, I see.
The idea being whoever the city wanted to invest more in.
Yeah. If a frowny card is drawn while this is active, this card may be discarded to avoid its effects. Oh, that's nice. Well, I have to do what I have to do. +1 for every city card. And all right, well, oh, that costs 3. I can't do it. Never mind. The thing I was going to do to save us, I can't do. So I'm going to do this one. So that hopefully at some point.
Hope you got more populous cards, Jack.
Oh, that's a leader, right?
Yeah. Unit. So it actually gets played over.
Oh,
here.
that's a unit. So we can discard that.
To avoid a lost
to
fate
avoid
event.
a frowny fate.
Yeah.
So don't get too excited there, Trevor.
Well, no, but
It's
on
going
his next
away.
turn, we have to go to 0 population.
Oh, but that'll be at the end of Jack's turn.
Yeah.
So he has a second out.
I'm just saying,
Wait,
I've
are
got
we on one
nothing.
right now? So it'll be 0 on my turn, or
Correct.
On Jack's turn. We haven't moved it down yet, right? Or did we?
Well, but yeah.
my turn it will go down 1.
Oh, this one seems good. Unique action, free to champion. I'll take that.
And tell me again how the leaders, do they count as 2?
They do.
That symbol?
2. Yes.
Ooh. Okay.
So now
I
it's
might.
Oh, now it's Sasha's turn.
So Sun has 5 symbols out.
Trevor's gonna win unless Sasha puts out a bunch of pots.
No, you are the sun.
Here comes the sun. Hey, wait! Who drew this? That looks way better than my drawing.
Okay, so my turn starts, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And so this goes down.
Yep.
So we're gonna lose this turn.
How do I make googly eyes that go "Auga" at the nice drawing?
That's pretty good.
That's very nice.
It's coming to.
Is that Homer? Can you
He's
give him
got
a little tough
he's got
area?
an ear there, maybe a shoulder, and then definitely.
I think if you go to, are we at 0 on your turn, Sasha?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, so you need populous or we're dead.
Yeah.
He's got blue eyeballs.
Yeah, I think I only have one card that I can play.
Okay.
Here comes.
Is it a populist card?
It gives us one populace, which just means Jack has to do something.
Okay. Fair enough.
For the first
Yeah.
time
Did you play
ever.
it, Sasha?
Yeah,
or-
I played it. It's a unit. It
Oh,
gave
oh.
-2 prestige, +1 population. And then whenever we play the hammer symbol, we get a happiness, which could get us out of this potentially.
Oh, yeah, we need happiness.
Um,
If we can stay alive.
and then I'm going to draw. Let's see.
Looks like you should have gills.
That doesn't sound promising.
There we go.
Well, I actually have a very interesting move that I was going to play no matter what anyway. So,
So we're back down to 0 for the start of your turn. 0 populace.
Look at this. Sasha's putting pots
Yeah.
out again.
here's what I'm
Yeah.
going to do.
Wait, you decreased our prestige?
I'm going
Yes.
to build a gambling
Can't let
den.
you in.
How are we going to end the game?
I'm going to build a gambling den, which is
that's
it's
appropriate.
not going to have any negative effects, but it is built under the public
You know
bath,
what? You know what this guy thinks about a gambling den underneath a public
So-
bath.
So,
Does
so
that
we're,
mean we just
this
lose?
is now a coin flip, is what you got.
It's a coin flip. I'm
Okay.
going to flip a coin.
Okay.
What,
We're going to see what happens here.
Oh,
wait, how does the coin flip help us?
Yes. We earned money.
That was the
instead of
latest flip ever,
lost 3
but-
people.
we'll take
And
it.
Wow.
we lose now,
and
right?
I built a hammer. So
Oh, it's a hammer symbol. Got it.
special.
So what does that do?
Plus 1 happiness for every hammer type card.
Well, that's
Yeah.
not going to
On this
stop
card,
us
so
from dying.
Yeah, we still
It
die.
just slows the hemorrhage, and we
No.
or
Yeah, we're
lose
going to
anyway.
die.
This was my only move. It was
Got
the
it.
only
Okay.
card I could play of all of my cards, and also I just thought it would be fun.
You should
And
have
on a
done
coin
tails.
flip.
You should have done tails.
I know, but I didn't. It was a heads. All right.
Well, I did have one that I could play.
I do
for
like this.
populist,
I
but-
do like the symmetry of our city, though.
Yeah, it's a
That's
small
right.
heart.
It
We
is a
didn't have
heart.
happiness.
Now, if
Even if the people aren't happy, we
yeah,
like to
if
pretend that
we
are.
had
No, the
had
people are fine. There's just none of them.
if we had had one more gold, I could have got us out of it. But you guys
I
spent
could have got us 2 populace, but I couldn't get us any happiness.
you
unfortunately.
spent too recklessly, Trevor.
Yeah, it was me. Yeah.
on my
Yeah,
turn,
but-
I could have gotten us to 15 prestige, but then Sun just wins.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
I had such high costs. My cards, I
Mhm.
needed 8 coins. I needed 5 people.
Mhm.
This one I needed 2 prayer hands. And this one I needed 5 people also.
So Sasha, you lost us the game because you weren't going to get the 1 point from the tableau.
What?
Is that correct?
No, I mean, Sun
You
had-
said you could have got us to 15 prestige, but then Sun would have got the 1 point from the tableau.
the 1 point. What do you mean?
Yeah.
That's Jack. You're the bug football guy, right?
What?
You're the bug football guy.
Me?
Yeah. That was
Oh,
you, right?
Yeah, how'd you
And
know?
Sasha was Potts and Evan was Sons, right?
Why did you
wasn't.
think I was Warriors?
Well, because I knew what I was, and I knew that he was Sons, and I knew he was Potts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I was the
What did you call
Warriors.
it? The bug football?
The bug football guy.
Oh, football shape. Okay, I got it.
What else would you call it? I mean, come
That is bug football.
on.
Yeah.
It does look kind of like a football.
More specifically, antenna football.
Mhm, mhm.
Cool.
All right. Well, sorry y'all lost.
It's
Stop
We
okay.
put up a hell of a fight.
Sasha did us in.
How did I do us
Son of
in?
You said you could have got us to 15 prestige.
So I'd lose.
No. Whoever has the most symbols out gets 1 point, right?
What?
No, it's 1 point per the symbol out on the.
Oh, it's 1 point per symbol out.
Yeah.
Yeah. and Sun had by far the most symbols.
Yeah.
But then what about the hidden points and stuff?
I mean, I didn't have any hidden points.
Okay. So you'd rather us all lose?
Well, then us all lose except for you.
I mean, that's my preference.
I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah, you had 5. But
The
Trevor,
only
what was
point.
your?
Yeah, see, Evan, like the way that I played it, the game could continue longer, and so I could potentially still win.
Right,
Whereas if I did it the other way, then I'd immediately lose.
right.
I really wanted to get this card out, but I couldn't because
Mm.
we would have lost right away. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
I wanted to get this one out because we'd get some money. I think we had some of those in the city, but I just wanted to get some of my own cards out. The only person putting my cards out was Jack. I think
Yeah.
I got one of them out. That was it.
Yeah, I had a lot of other people's cards throughout the game. Yeah. Should
And
we
then I
should we get into feedback?
Yes. Yep.
Also had this one,
Let's do
but they
feedback.
all came late, and then you guys killed Populous, so I couldn't put that down. And then I
Yeah.
just never had a chance to put these guys down.
Yeah.
Because I just picked them up.
And like all the walls cards, I feel like could maybe feel more awkward because there's no walls out.
Yeah.
I mean, this one was still reasonable, but we just didn't have money for me to be able to play it for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never had the Tribal Center card covered with a non-wall card because that's why the Tribal Center card counts as a wall.
So then walls can do something.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that definitely slowed me down because my
Mhm.
secret goal, my hidden motive was wealth, where I would have gained 3 if I had 8 coins in the bank. But the only people card I had was Legion, which was like, where is it? It's gone. But it was 8 coins, so I was like, shoot, that's kind of a push pull for me. But 3 points is better than 1,
Yeah.
so I definitely would have gunned for that. And like I had a chance with walls, but like never could do it without it.
I was gonna gain 1 extra VP.
Yeah.
8 or more cards in the discard.
Yeah,
Nice.
these were the 2 that I had. Like there was never enough units out to really make this work. And then
Oh yeah, none of these cards were. Oh wait, we did have some cards out there. What?
we finally did. We just needed one more
Yeah.
sun, which I didn't want. But yeah, sort of weird.
Okay, yeah, let's just feedback, huh?
Yeah.
Do it.
Anybody particularly want to start?
Go
I
ahead,
can
man.
start.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll start. Okay. On the positive side, I think that the discussion that we had right at the end of the game is actually a really good sign, Fritz, because everybody is looking at like, oh, I could have done this, or like, you could have done this, or you could have done that. And like, that's kind of like really positive, fun table talk. And my first reaction after playing this game, despite some of my like constructive points, which I'll talk about later, is that I wanted to play again. Like I played and was like, oh man, I want to play again. Like I kind of am like thinking if we weren't doing feedback and this was a playtesting live stream, I'm like, I want to play again right now because I want to like see if this can go differently. But also it's just a fun experience to like have that table talk and to see everybody laying their cards out on the table like, you did this and like could have done that. And I think that in and of itself is a sign of a good game. So good work on this. It's fun and interesting and there's a lot of interactions. And I think for very simple core loop, play a card, draw a card, you have a surprising amount of depth to the game. And a lot that you can do with that one simple interaction. And then obviously there are other actions you can take, but I think that I always see that as a plus. Simplicity in actions just kind of reduces that AP and downtime a little bit, even for the Trevors among us or whatever. Just kidding. No, but it's a lot of it's a lot of fun. I think I had 2 primary pieces of like constructive feedback and I have no solutions for this. So just take it as you will. Maybe
That's
you
okay.
can
That's
just
my job.
maybe you can just
Right.
explain the design points
Sure.
behind this. But at no point in this game did I feel like I had a path to victory
Mhm.
at all. I wasn't drawing any of my own tribe's cards, and I
Mhm.
didn't even see enough of them come up that I would have been able to overcome the two leading factions. I don't know if that's a common experience or if there was anything mitigating I could have done that I was like maybe missing, because I felt
Mm.
like anything I did to mitigate the fact that I wasn't getting my cards was actually just drawing the end of the game nearer, either by forcing us to a loss or by pushing ahead to a game end that I didn't want because I had no cards. So are there other viable mitigating strategies I could have used that I didn't?
Trying to think of. It is a challenge that the game has had, and I don't think there was really anything that you could have done. To a certain degree, it's luck of the draw, but also I have tried balancing out. Um, I've tried multiple ways of balancing that. Like the restore action is one of those so that if you had a destroyed card out there already, you could flip it back over, but it doesn't really help if you don't already have your cards out there, and yeah, you don't have any of your tribe out there.
Well, I had
which-
one, but
one,
Trevor
okay.
played it.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
And you
So-
score 1 point per symbol of yours on the board set.
Correct. Yeah.
Sorry,
That's good.
including units.
Yes,
Yeah.
including units.
two per unit. Right?
Well, 2 for leaders.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So I think that was the thing. The experience that I was
Mhm.
having as I was playing this game was I was desperate for a catch-up mechanism that I could
Uh-huh.
not find. So I was like, what do I do? I guess I'll just make us lose.
Mhm.
That was kind of the strategy I was landing on towards the end there, and I happened to be able to do it. Though I really didn't want to. I wanted to like
Yeah.
keep the game going, but I had to do it anyway.
What? Hey,
So-
Jack, just to question you, what do you think about like just going deep on drawing these things?
I didn't have the opportunity to draw more of them.
Either. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I had the
Mhm.
one I started with,
Mhm.
but then like getting more coins was losing its viability because that was the win condition for me, was if I had the most coins or had more than
Mhm.
8 coins.
Mhm.
But once that wall was covered, I was like, oh shoot, my only other way
Yeah,
is
yeah.
gone. So yeah, I don't know. That was my one point. My other point was I felt like there was a little bit of a and I'm just curious how often this happens in this game too. Once we started to get into like the desperate zone here, low happiness, low populace, it felt like we were really scrambling, and it felt bad, which I think is good, but
Mhm.
I wonder if it was like imbalanced to like, oh man, there's no way out of this, or is there? And I'm just curious what you've seen in other games.
Yeah. This was a little bit more desperate than most games that I've seen because you went negative in more than, I think you were down to like below 4 in 3 of the resources all at once. I think that was like
Yeah.
one turn you moved down that way. So I think
Yeah.
one thing I took was that invader card that lost 3 populace and 3 happiness all at once
Yeah.
was maybe a little too powerful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah.
normally what I'll see is like you'll go down in happiness and you'll start to lose populace, but most people have towards mid game will have pretty high populace.
Whoa.
Um,
Not us.
yeah.
Yeah.
Almost to the point where I've seen people like sometimes you get all the way up to the top and people will intentionally tank their happiness to try and bring the populace back down. But there is like that scramble once as you hit one of these negative areas. But it's not typically more than one that you're dealing with at a time, like you guys experienced. So I do think that one card probably I need to go with one or the other. That was one note I already had for myself.
Too brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Evan often uses the term win more when he talks
Mhm.
about like the rich get richer concept.
Mhm.
And I was thinking like, man, this game has a lose more.
Yeah.
Like once you're losing, you are losing. And it's
Oh,
bad.
you can't pay your rent.
But
Ooh.
Yeah.
Guess you
You know what
also
you
can't.
don't do,
Guess you also
though?
can't
Yeah.
buy food. I guess you
Which
also.
You know what you don't
which
do?
Monopoly has when you
Yeah.
yeah.
You
Guess
don't
you
I would
also
play
can't
with
buy
draw
pets.
again when you're already losing, and then draw again when you're already losing. You don't go to
Yeah.
the bar and go outside and beg for drinks.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
Jack. That
That's
was
fair.
Jack trying to get his
That's fair.
symbols.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. I did make that worse.
But I mean, if that's what you got, if that's
Yeah.
what you had in your hand,
Yeah.
and you had
Yeah.
to draw, then
Mhm.
you know, like he says, it's just luck of the draw. It's a card game.
Yeah, I wonder if there could be maybe like a some sort of option, and this is like just an alternative I just thought of, but one thing that would have felt really nice to be able to do maybe just like once in a game is like a mulligan, right? Like to be able to say like, you know what, I'm just gonna ditch all my cards and draw new cards, and that could be your turn.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if that's viable or something like that could be, but maybe there's some sort of like des the whole thing I was feeling was like, man, I need some sort of desperation.
Mm-hmm.
Like I need some sort
Mhm.
of rescue mechanic. And that's what I was really missing in this game and feeling like I wanted that I
Gotcha.
couldn't do. Yeah. So but you know, it could just be the game state, could be a rarity that this doesn't happen very often, but that was definitely my feeling tonight, and just kind of my um constructive piece, but don't want to take away from all that positive stuff too about like how fun it is to see the city come together and like to think about the ways that could have gone differently, which is really neat. So yeah, so that's my feedback.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the vein of the randomness too, I think that was like, just speak to the design aspect of it. That's the thing I've struggled with the most is you start with 30 cards per deck and you're drawing 10 of them. So it's been really difficult to find a way to make the decks reliable each game, without making them too, like, I want each card to feel like unique, not like, oh, this card is very similar to this one and this one, which is kind of the safe route to go to make sure that there's less randomness.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's been one of my biggest struggles. So it's definitely a point that I've heard every time that people have lost, is that it felt a little too desperate, like it was a little too hard or a little bit too easy, is very common. And they tend to be right after the other. Like it was really hard, and then it was really easy, and then it was really hard, and then it was really easy. Sometimes we hit a sweet spot, but I think there's a struggle with randomness there.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think the last time we played, it was like over in 10 minutes, and we won because the card that you played like just boosted populace way up.
Yeah.
Or prestige way up.
Prestige. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 6 prestige in a single card play or something.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But that was also, it was just like everything was chaining together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's an interesting question because like I can say I have the same thing where I shuffle decks in my own, in one of my games, the primary game that I've been like promoting and playing a lot, Gardeners. I do something similar, but one of the ways that
New Kingdom Gardeners.
Yeah, one of the ways I get around that in Gardeners is I remove cards to set the time frame for the game, but there's enough repetition that it doesn't affect the randomness too terribly, where you don't like lose out on an entire worker type or something like that for that specific game. But like you said, that is the easy way, right? Like that's the easy way to balance it. You're trying to do it with all unique cards that all have unique abilities, which I think is really cool. You know, maybe something yeah, I don't know. I'll have to think about it. If something pops into my head, I'll share it. But
cool.
But yeah,
Otherwise, I
maybe
think
we'll
it's
throw out
just
there,
a
Chester,
challenge.
that's a good idea.
It's just a challenge also in just balancing, making sure things don't swing too extreme.
Yeah. Yeah, balance is always an issue once you get into development. So
yeah.
All right. So Sasha, Trevor, or Evan. Sasha?
Yeah, sure. I can give some feedback. First of all, I did really like the conceptually. I really I think the game is really cool. I really like the concept of a sort of semi-cooperative game, and finding the right way to do that so that it feels like you have interesting decisions where like I don't know, things that hurt everyone isn't as bad. I don't know. I just like that in a game. I think that's an interesting design space, and there's definitely some really cool systems in here that I think sort of utilize that well. It seemed really interesting or cool in some ways to have a shared money thing. I don't feel like I've experienced that before, even though all these other things are essentially like having money. These are all just resources that we could sort of spend or gain. Actually, like having money be a shared thing is something I feel like I don't see very often. It felt interesting. Like I felt like I had interesting decisions where did I want to spend money to give other people less options on their turn? But like, how good was the card that I was spending the money on? Like, was that really benefiting me a lot? Or yeah. So, anyways, I thought that was really interesting. As far as some of the constructive criticism stuff, we were talking. You were talking about the variance of cards, and the first things that I think of when I'm doing like a card game design and wanting to help reduce variance or improve player agency is having more of a card market or something. It's you have like a little bit of a card market with you have one that is face up and one that's face down. But if the face down one isn't your symbol, it's like sort of like there's not a whole lot of information to go off of with the face down card. Whereas the face up one, that's obviously if it's good for you or could be potentially good for you, you're going to take that one. And just if you absolutely don't want it, then you take the face down one. I think if there was like maybe a couple more options that might help someone get cards that were more like useful to them. And then the other thing, which I don't know if it's right for this game, but drafting is another thing with the start of a game. Especially in this one, people aren't going to want to take cards that aren't their own faction that highly. Generally, I feel like so you're more likely to be able to see your own faction. But again, that's adding that's a little bit more involved of a game system to add to a game. But just a little bit more of a card market, I feel like could help with the reducing variance a little bit. But and then another thought on that concept is if there were cards that had like two tribe symbols, two different tribes on it, it could maybe increase the density of card symbols so people feel like they're getting their tribe more often, while also it's not necessarily only helping them if they play it out. So it's like I feel like I would be more compelled to play a card that had my symbol on it, even if it helps someone else as well. Whereas playing a card that doesn't have my symbol on it at all and has someone else's symbol on it, it feels like pretty bad. Like when we're sort of a decent amount into the game, where it feels like it could end in a turn or two. I like really don't want to play other symbols other than my own or the neutral one. At least that's how I was feeling. What else did I have written down?
Can I just break in there for a sec, Sasha? The other thing that does too, Joe, is it hides it partial, and I'm going to get into this more when I do my feedback, but it kind of gets into that piece about what Jack was saying too, of like, oh, I'm just going to tank the game because I really don't feel like I'm going to win. But you never know when somebody's going to play one of your cards all of a sudden because there's now two on there. And you also don't know necessarily, maybe in this game you would, but you wouldn't know if you added another tribe in, if you're actually winning or not, especially if you were in second place. You'd be like, oh, okay, one tribe's in front of me, but it might be none of the people at the table. It's hard to know.
Yeah, that's something that I really like on the 2 to 3 player range. And I haven't played with this hidden role at 4 players, so that's something I was curious about. how that would play out, because you don't know if there's some, like, you know that there's no missing tribes, so you know you're always playing somebody else's cards.
Yeah. That was actually something I wrote down as well. Is I think there should, if with the hidden roles of 4 players, there should be a tribe that is not being played, just so there is that chance that the person that's the tribe that's in first might be the blank tribe. I think that would just make, I don't know, it would make me feel less hopeless if there was like someone that was like several symbols ahead and we were like high on the prestige or something. I feel like maybe the other person maybe that symbol doesn't belong to any person, but yeah. So I don't know if there's a reason that there couldn't be 5 tribes in a 4-player game, but
I think one of the things that we talked about before, Fritz, too, that is coming back to me and kind of, I think, plays on the desperate piece. I don't know if it helps with variability at all, but I think one of the things I told you was like I felt like it would be cool to have like a veto card or something that like instigates table talk, so that you can kind of like react to people, like hold a vote over something. I think that might be, I just want to like reiterate that feedback, because I felt that a couple, like when Sasha covered up the tribal center, I wanted to be like, no, let's undo it.
Don't do that.
I didn't feel, it's like, oh, well, it's built. Now we got to
deal with it.
Yeah, that was another thing where I
But
was like,
we don't have any walls. Great.
Yeah.
Look what you did.
Yeah, I do remember that comment from last time you played, and it is something I'm trying to experiment with. I think last time we talked about being a specific card that, like, with the peacekeepers, it's introduced or something like that, like a city council or something like that. But maybe it's also a spot that belongs like automatically available.
Yeah, maybe it's like a resource that everyone starts with, like a no or something.
A single veto of any particular card play.
Something along those lines. And that sort of helps if there's a sort of runaway leader, then everyone is going to be sort of knowing the leader's cards more often.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it could just be like you have a couple of powers, maybe they're tokens, maybe they're cards, but it's like you have like hold a vote, and then you have like redistribute the wealth or something, where you can like trade cards, or you can exchange your cards for new cards or something like that. Just a couple of like once per game things everybody can do that could kind of change things up.
I just had a couple other things before I'll pass the mic.
Sure.
I think the concept of the hidden goals is, I think, actually a really good concept for this game. Being able to have some points that are not face up on the table, I think is pretty important for this type of game. And I just felt at the beginning, when you get 2 and choose 1, something that I really like that some games will do when they have this sort of thing is you don't make that choice right at the very beginning of the game. You make that choice at some point, like maybe it's after 6 cards have been played out or something, just so you have some semblance of something that you're going for. You like have some decision to make, because when it's at the very beginning, I have no idea what cards are going to be played, so I have no idea. I could just choose randomly pretty much. And
that's like famously one of the best parts of Scythe, isn't it? Like that you score only one of your objective cards.
Arc Nova does it.
Arc Nova, more recent, it does it pretty well.
It is one of the very few ways to make me not hate the initial game setup drafting of things.
Just like a delayed choice.
What do you guys think if, like, on the prestige track, if you have a point of like 10, where if you pass that, that's when you discard one of them?
That sounds good. The only thing that you have to sort of be conscious of is that there's plenty of ways to get those cards. Then do you keep them separate, or do you just have to discard one when that happens? But obviously that's something to figure out.
Be a separate,
Maybe they don't ever need to be completely separated though.
Yeah,
Like maybe it
but
doesn't
yeah.
matter.
you just
I get
discard
it.
one once you reach 10 or whatever.
Yep.
That could work. Let me just look through if there was anything else in here. Just sort of reiterating what was said before. When we're like low on several tracks, it just sort of felt like there wasn't really much incentive to like, unless you were the one leading, there wasn't much incentive to try and push up the prestige track. But I don't know. It just felt like I didn't want to do anything to try and help us not lose if I wasn't like ahead on the
Yeah.
board. And I feel like I didn't feel good about doing that because I want prosperity, but from a min-maxing sort of
Yep.
spike brain, it was the right choice was usually the one that hurt us the most, because it gave me the best chance of potentially winning.
Yeah.
So I think it's maybe a little bit too brutal having multiple being down on multiple tracks and sort of figuring out a way to make that not happen, or make it not every time, every turn you lose that thing, just like when you land on it or something. It just like once we were down here, we were just getting further and further behind, it felt like.
Right.
And I guess on that point, the discarding cards, we were talking about the sort of variants or like getting cards that you want. It felt like I really wanted to discard cards and get fresh cards because I could like sculpt my hand while also giving other players less options. Because once this deck got low, they can't discard cards and get new cards.
Right.
And also, if we're pretty far down on here, they don't want to like push us down further, or potentially they might not want to. So being someone that discards earlier just gives other players less, or maybe feel like they have less of an opportunity to discard. That was just something that I felt like I wanted to discard early before things got bad. Yeah, so I don't necessarily know. Maybe they just need to be less bad, or maybe sort of. Yeah, I'm not sure what it was. Obviously, there was that one that just brought us down really low. But I think that's it for my criticism. I just wanted to sort of come back to the aspects that I did really like. I think the basic loop is really nice. I think the sort of playing out cards and them sort of triggering off of symbols, I like that concept a lot. And the way that you did the asymmetry, I think, is also pretty clever and interesting, where you have different decks that get all shuffled in together. And so it's each faction sort of does slightly different things, or sort of focuses on slightly different things. And so I think the hidden roles is a really interesting and cool concept for this game. I think that it really benefits this game. Just tweaking around a little bit with we talked about the double symbols or something, or something along those lines. I think could make it like really shine and be like. But overall, I did enjoy the game, and the style of game is definitely one that I enjoyed.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
If I could touch on
Remember what-
one of those
Oh, yeah, go
real
ahead.
quick, if that's okay.
Yep.
The double symbols, I've heard that a few times. And Trevor, I don't know if you've actually mentioned that before. I know you've played a few times. Okay.
No, it was in my notes though, so I'm glad Sasha hit on it.
Cool. I'm glad to rehear it then. One of my biggest hesitations with it is the cleanup afterwards, because all the decks are shuffled back into each other. Makes it hard if there's they all have their own unique decks. But as I'm sitting here, I think like just having a sub icon or something might help it. Yeah. I guess it's less of an issue than I was thinking of now that
you could just have
it out loud.
Yeah, you could just have the primary, and then like this is a warrior card. Like
Mhm.
if you did it for Grand Arena, like this is a warrior card, but it also has the fisherman symbol or whatever.
What if all of the communal cards were just double cards of
All
the
of the
different
what?
factions? The communal
Oh.
cards,
Hmm.
because then you just have a communal deck, and those just have a sort of mishmash of the symbols, and
Yeah.
they're always played. And any factions that aren't being played, it doesn't matter because it's a communal card.
Right.
I don't know. It just a a thought for a solution.
Yeah, I like that because a lot of them already have like the guardhouse is a little bit more leaning towards warrior than anybody else. But
Got it.
so I think that could thematically it could be done easily, which is always the thing I think of first. But
Sweet.
balancing, I'd have to look at. But it's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
cool
yeah.
idea.
Cool.
Also, could be neat to have wilds where you play it and somehow mark it for yourself, like, oh, I played it, and because I played it, I get the credit or something like that. But
The hidden rolls, I think that sort of gives you away. But
No,
It
you
does.
would mark it with a player marker, not
Oh.
a tribe marker.
that's interesting.
So
Oh, that
at
is
the
interesting.
at the end, you would say, "Oh, actually, it's all suns." Suckers.
yeah, right.
The 3 cards that I put down that were secret are mine.
Mhm.
Oh, that's really interesting because I did used to have for a short period of time player markers that you could basically the way it worked is you if somebody played a card that was another tribe, you could cover up their icon with a coin with your tribe symbol on it to claim it as yours, and then you discard one and you'd have like a hand of 4 for the rest of the game was the balancing mechanism. But with the hidden rolls, I got rid of that. But I think you'd still give away your hand a little bit when you're playing those because you're clearly saying I'm not this tribe, but
That's
it's still like it still leaves you 3 possible options. So it's like a balancing
Yeah.
of like how much
Yeah,
do I want to appeal?
I really like that idea of the wild. The wild, it's going to be for me regardless of what tribe I am. I don't have to
Yeah.
reveal what that is. It's just probably not the one I covered up.
Yeah.
I'm stealing a little bit from my buddy Jay Bell. He has a game called Spotlight where it's basically the whole system.
Okay.
But
That's
anyway,
cool.
sorry. Is it Trevor?
Yeah, Trevor.
All right. I made notes because I am horrible at remembering what
Yeah.
what I need to do as I'm going through.
I would never make. Do you see those?
I can see it now. Yeah.
For a second, it did look like you just had a blank piece of paper.
Yeah. It's
There's
magic.
so much writing on it that it looks like there's no writing on it.
So yeah, I'm a big fan of the semi-co-op. I hate co-ops. Most people know this. I haven't met a co-op that I like yet. There are co-ops that I'll tolerate, but I just us versus the cardboard, me versus the cardboard. I don't know. It's just a big solitaire game to me, and it's all of us versus the cardboard. It's just solitaire with a bunch of people instead. So I am not a big fan of co-ops. So the fact that you're trying to balance this out as a semi-co-op is really cool. It's really hard, but it's really cool. I think I went over that the very first time we played it, that
Yeah.
it's a difficult thing to do without putting just contrived kind of things in there to balance things out. But I have a few ideas now that I've played it a second time.
Cool.
Another, I really like the addition of the hidden goals. I think that's smart.
Awesome.
And yeah, I just like the tableau building. You get to build something out. It's like Jack said, it's a simple, you're laying a card, you're picking up a card, but the depth of decision that you get within it is it's deep enough for me, not but not too deep, I don't think. This is definitely right on the edge of a game that I would play, but I definitely play it.
It's on the heavy end or the light end?
It's on the heavier end of what I would play. I would put this just because of the decision space from all the cards. You have 5 cards and you have all the symbols on it to read. Granted, I really do think TTS just doesn't do anybody any favors with a card game like this. I really do think it would be way easier because I could just glance around the table instead of having to move all within TTS and going, okay, did we move that? We haven't moved that. What does that mean again? What are these 4 cards down here? This card up here? What's actually out on the table for symbols? It's just so much quicker just to glance at a table, because your eyes can focus on what you want. So I do think it would actually feel lighter in real gameplay to me. So I was along the same lines of, as much as I like it semi-co-op, I was along the same lines of, do I kill everybody now because I've got nobody out on the board and none of my hidden goals are coming through here, or do I try and play this 3 prestige card? And I'm like, no, I'll play the 3 prestige card. I won't be the dick. But that is the conundrum for me right now in the game. That's the main. How do I really feel like I have a path to victory, like Jack says? So the easy answer is you make it co-op. I don't like that answer.
Yeah.
I will never say go co-op only, but I'm not going to not give you an option.
I do have a variant in the rules where you can play fully co-op for people who like it, but I also don't like the idea of it going fully co-op.
I think it's a different game once you go co-op. And then you're just really concentrating on the tracks instead of concentrating on the 2 different things you're trying to win while making sure everybody doesn't die.
Hey, Trevor.
I think that's a much more...
Hey, Trevor, something really important is to point out, once you go co-op, you never stab back. Dad joke, I'm out. Okay, go.
I don't even have a response.
Backstabbing.
Oh, I got it.
All right.
I just have nothing.
But you didn't laugh, so I figured you probably didn't get it.
It's a pretty highbrow.
My notes. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, now that I've totally derailed you, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's okay. My notes are all over the place, so I'm trying to figure out where my next one goes to. Okay, so the harder solution would be to find, to make everybody feel like they have a path to victory. And so one of those would be to just have all the tribes in. Like, why pull a tribe? Actually, if there's more than one dummy tribe in, I'm less likely to believe that I have no path to victory and that I still have a chance here. And I'm like, okay, hope and a prayer, there's 2 people out there. They're not real people. And I'm just hoping and looking at like who's playing what. I'm like, okay, there's lots of those out there, but everybody's played one of those.
Yeah.
So
Cylons.
Maybe nobody's that. I don't know. Nobody's really hitting it hard on Suns. Nobody's hitting it really, really hard on antenna footballs. So I would keep the guessing of, ooh, is this really a thing or not a thing? More in the game. So I would leave as many factions in as you could. The other thing, where do I go here? Yeah, I already hit on that. The other thing you could do, and I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad idea, but the other thing you could do is, like, because we had the tribes, only 4 tribes in the game, if you can nail down who's who, you could have a thing at the end of the game where you're willing to risk whatever points you think you have to nail down that tribe. And if you can nail that tribe, because whatever reason in the game, like, nobody's supposed to know, it's supposed to be a secret thing, whatever. And if you end up revealing yourself by being too obvious, people are gonna nail you for that. So if for example I was able to say, yeah, Evan's Sons, and I could risk so many points, maybe to a maximum amount, then I could benefit off of that somehow, because he didn't play a good hidden game.
You don't know.
That's interesting. one of the things I thought as you were talking about this, Trevor, because I was listening the whole time my video was off. I was just moving. But one of the things I was thinking about is Fritz, have you tried implementing asymmetric tribal abilities? And specifically, one of the things that I was thinking could work in the same way that Trevor is talking about is asymmetric scoring conditions. So the warrior tribe gets bonus points for having the highest defense. So even if you can't work for your cards, you can work to build up defense resources because you're going to earn some sort of bonus for doing that anyway. And everybody else knows that about the warriors. So they're like, well,
Right.
you can't let the defense get too high because otherwise the warrior tribe is going to succeed there.
Right.
Have you tried anything like that?
I've tried the asymmetric abilities, and I felt like it pulled away too much from the card abilities because there's already a lot of like special abilities that come with the cards.
Yeah.
But the conditions is interesting. I haven't messed with that before.
Yeah, because then you can work towards resources if you can't, for whatever reason, earn the cards that you need to.
Right.
Yeah.
Jack.
Yeah.
I hate to say this, but I love that. I love that. Yeah, like if you can't draw your cards, but you know that your bonus points are happiness, you're going to try to peg out happiness with other people's tribal cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. Also, have you been monitoring chat?
Yes. There's
not,
nothing.
Not much. Yeah.
Sam hasn't said anything.
Yeah, he said he's actually trying to get a Kickstarter.
He's working on.
He's trying to get a Kickstarter ready.
He's working on a Kickstarter.
What
I
a
think it's
jerk.
a lame excuse.
All right, now I've interrupted you.
Who isn't? Right?
Not me. That's not for me, man.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a couple more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to build off of what Sasha was saying about a discard, the discards and a market. Two different ways you could, or two different things you could think about. One would be that the discards somehow become a market. So people getting rid of these cards, maybe they're ditching the cards because they're not their faction, they're not their tribe, and maybe there's a way for other people to pick those up. Maybe they don't show the card, but maybe they just show the backs of the cards. And that's always an option to pull from those discards. So it's a quick decision. It's not, oh, do I want that power? And is it going to do that? And is it going to do that? Because that's a bit of a problem with the amount of information on the cards. But if I was going to do a market, whether it was discards or add more to a market, I would do the face down cards if I had a market. And the face up cards, I might do two so that there's not a lot of analysis paralysis of like, okay, if I grab that and it goes there and this goes here, that would stop me. You can see I'm a slow player when it comes to any kind of a decision. That would stop me if I had more than possibly one, but I would try with two face up cards. But the face down cards would not stop me. All I'm looking for is my faction. Yeah. I'm just looking to try and pad my color, right? So that's an option for a quick market that really won't add a bunch of AP. And then the other thing that I would say that's as it is right now, the best way to make sure that you're not that you actually have a path to victory is to really lean into getting people more of those goal cards. So I had 3 or 4, I can't remember, and I don't think I could meet any one of them.
Yeah.
So I would lean into the goal cards being a catch-up mechanism. So not if I've got like not that some of them can't be like, oh, you've got four of these symbols out on the board, but maybe there's 4 of somebody else's tribe out on the board, or 4 more than yours, or 2 more than yours, or something like that. So it's obvious that you're in a losing position in a tribe point of view. So now I can use this goal card to supplement that. And nobody knows that, but they know I got 3 goal cards. So now they're like, oh, I'm not sure who he is. And I've got like 6 suns out on the board. And the next best one is like 2. But they got 3 gold cards, so I wonder what the hell those are. So should I try and end this? I got the ability to hit that prestige all the way to the top right now. Do I go for the end right now or do I not? I'm not really sure where I'm sitting right at this moment. So do I add to my tribe or do I shoot the moon for the end game? And that's, I think, where that if you can balance that decision of do I end it or don't I end it? Do I keep building my engine or do I end it? If you can balance that, and a couple suggestions, but I don't think any of them are gold. Then I think you've got something super solid.
Oh,
Again,
thanks.
I really like the tableau building and everything else I mentioned before. So I'm really hitting on some deeper points here because I do think there's a lot of potential for the game.
Thank you.
I do really like your idea, Trevor, too. Just reiterating one of the things you said about the discarded cards making up more of a market. I think that is a great cut on AP because people have seen the cards at least, or like have the ability to look at them prior to their turn. So that can just cut down decision time a lot.
Well, and it's an Ethnos thing.
Yeah,
I don't know if
it is.
anybody's ever played Ethnos,
I
but
That
haven't
is from
actually.
Ethnos.
you get rid of your cards and it's like, oh, I'm getting rid of these, but oh, I
Anybody
have
can
to,
take them.
somebody could pick these up. Maybe they can
Yeah.
pick them up cheaper because they're discards. I don't
Yep.
know.
Mhm.
Yep. It
Yeah,
also
that's
reduces the
me.
feel bad of the intruder card because, like, when somebody discards all of their cards, then you're like, well, I mean, this person brought an intruder into our city, but they also left all these resources on the table for us to
Yeah.
potentially grab. So it kind of like helps other players not to feel so bad about that.
Yeah.
All right. And do you have anything else?
Nope. That's
I go.
it.
What are the win conditions? Prestige. What else?
Or run out of happiness events.
Run out of happiness ones, and there were 6 of those.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I have a lot of things that kind of dovetail with what other people are saying.
Sure.
Obviously, I'm a unique individual, so not everything is exactly what everyone else said, but generally speaking, I thought there was a lot of good suggestions. Yeah, the big issue of like knowing that you're not going to win and tanking the game instead of whatever is a big deal. What's your normal playtime?
Usually around 30 minutes. So this was a longer game.
Yeah. How many cards normally get played out?
Somewhere between 20 and 30.
Oh, so
If
we played way fewer cards and took way longer.
Yeah.
Okay.
It leans toward closer to 20.
Okay.
But this is a smaller city than most, and most of that is because you guys played a lot fewer unit cards, which might have just been the hands that you were dealt.
Yep.
But usually these are played really quickly, and we'll
Right.
often get all the way up to 5, and then people start booting people out of the city. So that's where a lot of cards get played. The city is slightly smaller in terms of buildings than usual.
Okay. Yeah. So your game has some interesting elements that I actually am a big fan of because I put them in my game. So the guys here that have played my Civ Builder tile laying game, right? Did you play that, or was that just Trevor?
No. Yeah,
So,
just Trevor.
So Trevor, you played that, right? We have the
Yeah.
tracks. You've got your happiness, your population, your this.
Oh
and
wait,
that.
no, yeah, I did play that.
I
Yeah.
was going to say
Yeah.
Jack has played
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah, I played it.
And it's
Yeah,
and it's a semi co-op where we can all lose together or one of us can
Yes.
win by the most points. So I really like what you've done there because those are similar choices to what I made. So obviously I think they're amazing. And
Don't
then
change them.
don't change it. They're amazing. And then the other thing you've got going on is this like brutality of play feeling. And I don't know if you've ever read the comments on After the Empire, but I also love that. obviously, and a lot of people don't. So so what I will say is, if your game time is 30 minutes, you have more leeway on the brutality.
Yeah.
If your play time is an hour plus, you have much less leeway on the brutality. Um, and the effect that luck has on stuff. So if you're normally at 30 minutes, it's actually, you have to kind of modify our brutal experience because we experienced that brutality much longer, right?
Yeah.
And so it has kind of a different overall end feel
Mhm.
than if it was a much shorter game. So if an hour is not the normal experience, then you kind of just modify that
Yeah.
brutal experience. That being said, I love brutal games that are really tough and you like lose 70% of the time and you eke through by the skin of your teeth 30% of the time. So that didn't bother me, but again,
Something to be aware of.
a lot of people do not like that and do not
Don't like it.
want that
Yeah.
experience at all. So if it felt fine to me, it might be too brutal. Setup.
Mhm.
So, I mean, maybe it's not so bad when it's not on TTS, but this whole sideboard business,
Yeah.
in conjunction with the largest table that TTS has,
Yeah.
right? There's an issue there.
Mhm.
Just like whether it's like cut down on your setup or find a way to fit it all on the main board, just for playability.
Mhm.
Like I had to any viewers we ever get on this will see me zooming way out to go over here to go look at the card market, to zoom way out to come back over here to do this thing. Obviously not as big a deal in person, but I'm assuming that if this is a game that a publisher is publishing, they're going to want to do a lot of testing via a TTS.
Yeah.
So put it all in a reachable location, in a visible location that makes use of the mod much easier. I think you can a lot better. It'll just improve the experience and speed up the game. That being said, taking all of the stuff that everybody else said about adding, you know, dummy tribes to the deck and the yada yada yada, all that stuff. Plus, I really hate extensive setup for card games that are supposed to take a half hour.
Yeah.
So just give us a deck of cards and let us play. And then
Yeah, I think eliminating the dummy tribes, that'll just make setup so much easier because you never have to go through and
right, you know,
I guess you still have extra cards. But
yeah, I'm saying, yeah, like just make the deck size whatever it needs to be so that there's a nice even distribution and that regardless of player count, maybe you just, shuffle and take out, I don't know, whatever. Obviously, you start running into density issues once you start taking out random numbers of cards because maybe you took out all of my tribe cards. But I really agree with everybody else. We're having at least one, if not all, the tribes in there, so that one or two of the symbols on there, even in a 3-player, 4-player game, might not actually be a player. I think really helps cut out one of the biggest issues in the game, which is that, well, why would I help the team if I'm definitely gonna lose?
yeah.
Whereas if there's that chance, like Trevor was saying, maybe both of those players are the dummy players. Maybe I can still win. So maybe I won't take it for everybody because there's still a chance.
One in a million. So
1 in
you're
a million,
saying
baby.
There's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance. So personally, I would just have a deck of cards that you don't do, a bunch of weird taking tens from different stacks and melding and shuffling and whatever. But that's my preference, and that obviously does lead to more randomness issues than if you do set it up. But that's my preference.
Yeah, that is why I wanted to show you guys the setup because I normally don't have people see the setup and all that's gone.
Well, but people are going
but
to have to
I
do
wanted
the
to-
setup, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. That's why I wanted
Yeah.
to be like, this is what I'm actually doing
Yeah,
behind the
yeah,
scenes,
yeah.
and people don't get to see this, but this is what people are actually going to experience when they get the game. So
Yeah, like that. That much setup would would be a barrier for me to want to table again.
Yeah.
If it's a half-hour card game.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend 10 minutes setting it up, even though that's not actually true. That's what my brain's going to say, right? It might be 2 minutes, but my brain's going to be like, it takes forever. Cost does not equal need. You had a couple of cards on here that like you separated out cost and need for some reason, like as subsets of requirements to play a card, and I'm not quite sure why.
Sure. So, you mean a card where there's both cost and need listed on it?
Yeah, what's the why do you have both of those as separate keywords for a person to learn and use instead of just requirements or whatever?
So I guess in my mind, and this might not be worth the differentiation, but in my mind, it was always that cost is what you're paying, so you're sacrificing that, and need is just something. It's just a requirement that you're going to need beforehand, but it doesn't require sacrifice. So
is the cost always money?
Yes.
And is the need always a number of cards in the tableau?
It's either cards or resources. So it could be number of cards in the tableau, or it could be a need of happiness of 10, or 10's a lot. Happiness of 5 or more, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I will say my publisher is working on new card layouts, and they've eliminated the words in the new layouts, which might answer that same question, and just having the icons of, like in this corner, there's a coin, or you might have like 6 water. So I don't know if that answers what your comment was.
Yeah. Essentially, I would definitely strip out the keywords that are essentially the same thing. Like the fact that one of them is spent and one of them is counted is like, right. They're both requirements to play the dang card. So put it in a box in the upper corner. That's the requirements to play the card. We know that if there's money up there, we have to spend money. And if it's it's a card type symbol, then we have to have those card types.
I did have it at one point where it could have been a need that was money, like you just needed to have this money, but you don't actually spend it. And everybody got that wrong. Everybody was like spending the money.
So if you have that differentiation, then you need to differentiate. But if it's if you see a money up in the requirements section, you know you're spending money, and that's always the way it is, then you don't need to. And it just creates an extra like brain barrier.
Yeah,
that's
true. Can I ask a quick question? Jack, did you get put in the corner?
Nobody puts Jack in the corner.
No. Moved. It looked like you got put in a darker, danker place.
No, it's actually brighter. There are more lights up here, but most of them are off. So this is totally beside the point. We're building a house, and so my family of 3 is living with my parents, and we're all in the same place. So we're like, my dad's like, I'm going to bed. So I'm like, all right.
So you try to be quiet.
That's fair.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
No,
I was just trying to throw Evan off like he threw me off earlier.
Yes, as well deserved.
We totally agree on the cost. This is a good note.
Yeah. Invader icon looks more like population.
Yeah.
It's got to look more aggressive, man.
Yeah. It was a different word at one point in time. It was outsiders, so it's supposed to be a silhouette of like somebody unknown. Yeah. But then it was pointed out that like it gives a bad reputation. Yeah. Like we shouldn't be saying outsiders are bad, which is totally fair and legitimate.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially in current times.
Yeah. So icon, if it's people attacking you, then it look like they're attacking.
Pitchforks.
Which one's the invader one?
It's the silhouetted person.
Oh, that guy. Okay.
Yeah. So it kind of just looks like the population symbol, but only one of them. I get one guy. Oh no, they're bad. If trading in your cards because you don't have the stuff you need and spending your turn to do that is already bad, right?
Mm.
I'm not sure why the invaders is tacked on to that action.
Mm.
I mean, I get that, the person trading in the cards is the one wasting the turn and it's feel bad for them, but then it's just feel bad for everybody.
Uh-huh.
So I notice, just as a thing that I noticed,
Yeah.
defense and prestige both have the unhappy cards at the bottom,
Mhm.
whereas you have an opportunity for one of those two places to be where you draw the invaders. Probably the defense, I would assume, if they're invaders, um, instead of just unhappy if your defense is low. Like that's thematically where it would make sense to me that invaders are not rather than drawing.
Right.
But that's just a fact, though.
Yeah.
And I'm just not certain that extra feel bad is required on
Mhm.
top of a person sacrificing their turn to get cards that are hopefully more useful than the ones that they had.
Mhm. That's fair.
I had that same sort of thought. I feel like it's already sort of a disadvantage. Like if you're discarding lots of cards because you said the game will end if these cards run out.
Mhm.
And so when you're discarding and drawing cards, you're sort of getting close to the losing already. And then when you also get an invader, then you're also getting closer to losing because you're bringing all the tracks. It just feels a little bit like too much punishing for discarding with like, is discarding really, do you really want to disincentivize people from discarding that much? Like, is there a reason that you really don't want people to discard?
Yeah, I think for the thought behind it was that like it is a quick way to allow people to just tank the game, which is why I was trying to disincentivize it. It might just be that the game has evolved to a point where it's no longer needed. Um, and then another aspect, which we didn't really experience here, which might just be me needing to better make all of the invader cards more similar, is I've gone through and I've changed a lot of them into being, instead of it like really hurting the city, it destroys cards that are in the city, which can be a good thing if you're discarding, because like you can't play any of your cards, but at least cards from other people are getting destroyed, so their count is going down. So that was a big aspect of the invader cards. Ours just happened to be mostly cards that didn't do that, which I think I just need to better. Um, my mind's not working, but make them all the same, like not exactly the same, but all on that same vein of thought, rather than a few of them happen to be really brutal to your resources.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you end up in a scenario where the main reason you're extra punishing trading in cards is because you don't want cards to get run through,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can mechanically fix that problem rather than disincentivizing that behavior.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
And I've got some suggestions later.
Okay.
Reinforce the tribal color on the tribe cards. It took me a while to figure out what tribe color I was from my card. It's that skinny little border with that's a big white stroke on the outside and a tiny little line of color in the middle. That's just visual.
Yeah.
And the whole card was yellow, and my color was blue.
Yeah.
Hurt the team for self-gain. We've already kind of talked about that. The first 3 turns was there was a lot of potentially due to randomness.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how often you see this. There was a lot of inactive, impossible plays.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, of my hand of 5 cards, 3 of them cannot be played
Mm-hmm.
at any given moment, right? I don't know how common that is, but I definitely heard a few other players saying similar things. Where it's like, well, I can only play one of these, and it sucks, and it's not my suit, and it doesn't address any of the issues that we have going on right now because of whatever placement requirements or cost or whatever. So maybe look at how often that's happening,
Mhm.
and kind of go from there as far as like what requirements are important or not important to maintain
Yeah.
versus play flow.
Mhm.
Because you know, taking a turn where you don't play something into the city, or like don't substantively interact with the game,
Yeah.
is like not what you want to happen most of the time.
Mhm.
Yeah, because like people, yeah, there might be a strategy where discarding a lot is beneficial for you, but most of the time it will probably be because I can't do anything I need to do. What's in my hand?
Right. Nobody's gonna come to a game and be like, "I'm just gonna discard the whole game." Like
Right,
that's
and
not what
and it's
people play
fine if
games for.
it's fine if there is a strategy in there, and you will have some
Mhm.
players that love that,
Mhm.
but most of the time it's because they can't play, and that's not a good
Yeah.
feeling. Too many lost conditions to track. I still can't remember all the different ways we can lose.
Sure.
So maybe
One thing
just
I was
trim those
thinking,
up a little bit.
yeah, one thing I was thinking was I've never had this happen, but when I was explaining that the invader cards running out makes you lose, it didn't make any sense to me when I was like, as soon as I said it, I was like, oh wait, I've said this 1,000 times and it doesn't actually make sense because you're never just going to draw that card then.
Right.
So I think just removing that, like once the invader card deck is out, then you can't discard anymore is probably the easier way to do it, and then you have less things to remember for like how you lose. And then I've gone back and forth with the tribal center card being an important piece. Like if it gets destroyed, you lose.
Hmm.
It happens fairly enough that it can be consequential,
Yeah.
but it's also the hardest for people to remember because it's unrelated to any other win or loss condition.
Yeah.
Thematically, it makes sense, but maybe mechanically, it makes less sense.
If you're attaching those invader cards to the defense track, like is in my, obviously
Yeah.
stuck in my brain, then all of the things that are down here are loss conditions, and it makes a lot more sense.
Uh-huh.
Anyway.
Well, really, the only way you can lose is if your population is 0, isn't it? I mean, aside from
or this deck running out, or that deck running out,
yeah.
or this
Right.
deck running out.
Oh yeah, okay.
Redraw. It definitely, the way the system is currently, it seems like redrawing early is really good.
Drawing
It
early.
seemed like, kind of like Sasha was saying.
Yeah.
Oh, discard actions early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The card placement rules, as far as like up chevrons and down chevrons, I thought that I was super confused, and I was, but then I got it, and it was fine.
Okay. That tells me explanation probably needs better work than the mechanic.
It's really not that complex. You have to unlock a tier with chevrons, and then once that tier is unlocked, you can place side by side, no big deal, like whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess that part was confusing to me, and yeah, I guess as an exclamation thing, because it did seem like only like ground level things could be played on
Right.
this axis, and then only things that could play. But like once it's sort of played out, it's no longer like this is ground level and everything below here is underground or whatever.
Right. Yeah. The description doesn't thematically make sense with the placement rules.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because you've got your above levels and your below levels. But then here I am, playing an outside home in the subterranean region, because it's been unlocked. So just decoupling, either changing the thematic description or changing the mechanism so there only is 3 levels: middle, low, and high. Whether you change the description to match the mechanism or change the mechanism to match thematics, either way is fine with me, as long as they match.
Right.
So
I'd definitely change the theme.
Don't cover the tribal center.
Hmm.
Don't do it.
Yeah, I thought about that too. Even if it's maybe just like a special written on it, that's
Exactly.
like this card
Yeah.
can't be covered.
Yes.
Yeah.
This card is integral to the game not going
Yeah.
horrendously wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think it's fine.
You're
Like
welcome.
this is just a general note about games in general, but I do think it's fine to have like this is special. It's okay if it has special rules because it is so special.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So like this can have a rule like that that applies only to this, and it's fine because it's like, well, but that's the special card,
Uh-huh.
you know.
It,
Exactly.
it already visually looks fairly different with this bottom. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it wouldn't be hard to remember that. Oh, you can't cover this.
When it was covered up, I was like, wait, you can cover that one up? Really?
Mm.
You know,
Yeah,
like,
me too.
just my head, it's like, well, of course you can't cover that up. So if you,
Mhm.
anyway.
I think also you can justify it thematically either way with the loss condition. Like
Yeah.
either it's kind of like, well, you've built this whole city. How much does this really matter anymore?
Right.
That's one way you could go. Or you could say like, this is the heart of our city where all of our culture is contained. And
Right.
if this falls, everything falls, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of why it was always a loss condition from the get-go. Is it's
Mhm.
like you lose your center and the whole point
The
of
unity.
you all coming together. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will note with that one card, that is the only card in the entire game. I just looked through all of them that would have removed the tribal center card as a wall card. Every
Got
other
it.
card that could cover it up was also a wall card.
Got it.
It's just funny. It was like, oh, it's the one card that could have done it, which is why extensive playtesting is good.
Really funny.
Totally.
So you have a lot of talk about your goals being very miss more than hit.
Yeah.
Which you can fix in various ways, right? You can make them easier. You can, whatever, right? You can make them way more valuable,
Uh-huh.
but keep them just as hard. So it's like even more feel good / feel bad. Don't do that. Or
Let's make the game more brutal.
wait, you
than
got the
Seven's
5+?
advice.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, I do like brutal games. But something I like in hidden goals
Mhm.
when it's been an issue of more misses than hits is making them scalar instead of binary.
Mm.
So +1 point for each yada yada, or for every 2 yada yada, rather than 3 points if you have 5 or more.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
So then you're way more likely to hit, even if your total extra VP isn't any more than it otherwise would have been. Most of your cards are hitting at least 1 point extra.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a couple of them are getting that 3 points extra because you really, did a bang up job.
Mm-hmm.
And then it really helps the like drawing them late game as well, where you're like, well,
Yeah.
I didn't go that route. You're like, well, I got 1 point. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's still time to play one of those cards and I can get an extra point.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like them scalar. Personally, that's kind of just a preference of mine rather than the threshold.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Discover faction. So I hate hidden traitor, hidden role, all that stuff. You will never see me in a big circle at midnight wearing bunny ears in a convention hall playing One Night in Werewolf or whatever they play. However, I liked the implementation of that in this game.
Yeah, I
Wow.
think
Huge
I appreciate
compliment.
that.
Where you don't know who's doing what, and you don't know, oh, well, did he play that card because we really needed defense and he's helping us all out, or because he's the Sun
Mhm.
player? That son of a. So I think you've got a really nice handle on that as far as how that felt in this game. Now, obviously, I'm not good at those games because I dislike them, and Trevor figured me out way too early. But and probably everybody else did too. They were just nice enough to not say it. But but I like that in this game, and I think that's something that you can really lean into with some of the elements that the other guys have mentioned, where you've got 2 icons on a card, or 2 two tribal symbols on a card or that sort of thing, where it does help obfuscate your intention.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think with this game, like one of the big design aspects when I started experimenting with the hidden roles was I never wanted it to be about guessing who was who. That it's just like the hidden roles are meant to help you not worry about certain people as much, if that makes sense. Like it's still more about you building yourself up than it is about trying to figure out who is this player and who's that player.
Yeah, but
like
some people are going to find joy in that. But
yeah,
there's no need to not let it happen.
Yeah.
Or design
I'm
it
not
out.
trying to avoid it.
Yeah.
I'm just trying not to make it the focus of the game.
Yeah, it's tough to play cards. Requires the cycling instead of having cycling be, something that is a choice. We already kind of talked about that. The leaders that are worth 2 symbols, put 2 symbols on them.
Yeah,
Then you don't have to tell us that they're worth 2. You just look at it and go, oh, that guy's worth 2.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I can even get rid of the leader symbol at that point.
Yeah, look, he's got 2 on him. He must be worth 2. The communal symbol is extra brain tax overload. If the card has no tribe, don't put a symbol there.
Okay.
And it's like, what does that symbol mean? Absolutely nothing. Oh, great. Why is it? Okay.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Put the stuff on the board. I already talked about that.
I think Jack's done that for me.
Yeah, he's reorganizing.
I've been playing around with it, just trying to figure out like how could it work?
Restore and
So sorry if that's distracting.
No, it's not bugging me at all. I'm kind of
okay.
Interested in what you're doing. Restoring, building over, destroying buildings. The frequency that occurred in our game 100% says take it out of the game. Unless our play was such an aberration that almost all of the time that's happening many, many times throughout the gameplay. If it happens once,
is a lot more frequent.
Yeah.
And I'd like it to be even more frequent than it already is.
Okay. Yeah, because it's one of those things that it's either got to happen enough to make it worth being rules or not. For us,
I really like the destroyed aspect because it allows you to like pull down the leaders. But I'm walking this fine line where I don't want the game to feel like a take that game.
Yeah.
So this is one of the ones where like there are fewer destroyed cards than I would normally see. But even where I'm currently playtesting, like what most of them look like, I'd like to see a little bit more. But I'm also a lover of take that. I just know other people don't like that. So,
I mean, it's one of those things where if your playtime legit is a half hour, you can throw some take that in there, man.
Yeah,
you can. You really can. And are you going to have some 1 out of 10s on BGB being like yeah, of course. But so what? Screw them. Yeah. Make the game you want to make, man. It might not be for them. That's fine. That's fine.
That could be your the name of your company.
Screw them.
Screw them.
You'll have that same thing happen with cooperative.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's just, it's a one. It's a co-op.
Yeah. Make the game you want to make, and obviously you don't want to like artificially limit your target audience, but at the same time, like you can't make the more you try to make a game for everybody, the less it's going to stand out to anyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or generally speaking, then there's weird anomalies that go against everything I say. Let's see. Oh yeah, I really liked the everybody gets a veto. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I think it was neat.
Like that too.
I thought that was a cool idea. Adding in the dummy tribes, I really thought that those were some great ideas. It wasn't me who said it, so I can't actually remember who said it. Probably somebody else. Maybe
It
Sasha.
was Trevor.
Maybe
Yeah.
Trevor.
It probably wasn't me.
But I liked adding dummy tribes. I thought there was some really good reasoning behind that. The Biro, well, end of game. Oh yeah, yeah. The triggering of like when bad stuff happens is a little squiggy. It's not like overly complex, obviously,
Mhm.
but it's just weird enough where it doesn't really flow.
Mm.
You know, it's not like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Of course, that's how you do that. It's like, we wait to do that until when? It's not the end of my turn. It's the start of his turn. Wait, what's the difference between those two things?
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
wait. So there's that needs to be just a touch smoother.
Yeah.
Something about how that's working, and I'm sure you've tried it both ways: start of turn, end of turn, yada yada, and arrived at the timing for a reason, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
But it's a little squiggy because you have things happening at the start of the turn, unless you trigger the end of the game during your turn, and then it doesn't trigger at the start of the next person's turn. It triggers at the end of your turn, and then you're like, wait. So triggers do happen at the end of my turn, or they don't happen at the end of my turn.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that's true because the end, it doesn't. Right.
Yeah.
Events happen one way, end
Yeah.
game doesn't happen that way. I didn't
Right.
realize
Yeah.
that until now.
Yeah. So it's like you got to just like
Yeah.
if it's gonna
One way or
be
the other.
a little weird anyway, you got to pick the one and do that so that at least it's consistent.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I actually, and I don't know if you ever tried this because maybe it just doesn't work and that your system doesn't do well with it. But I really liked the when you land on it idea. I understand that that's substantively different and triggers things in a different way. And as you tread up and down on things, you're going to be triggering things potentially more rather than at the start of each turn. Um, but as far as a timing trigger, it made more sense to my brain. I don't know if that's true across the board or if if that's just my brain. Um, was that Sasha? Is that who said that?
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
a quick thing that. Yeah, I think that's what I intuitively thought would happen when.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know if that's just us that like that makes total sense when it drops to that thing. You do the thing.
I think intuitively that makes more sense. I actually find the opposite of what you're describing was that it happens less often. It's triggered less often because
Oh, interesting.
when somebody moves to a negative spot, like they'll draw an invader card or
Yeah.
whatever card, and
Well-
then nobody will move it again because they're scared to.
Right. But then, like, if I increase our happiness, we're still moving through a -1 population.
Yeah.
A -1 population.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. That's why I was thinking it would trigger more because you're like, ugh,
Yeah.
on the way in and on the way out.
Right.
Anyway, I just liked that idea. It might not
Uh-huh.
work for your system, but I thought it made more sense timing wise to me.
It is the more intuitive way to do it. Most people have been confused about that.
But I think if you homogenize end of game trigger, it will at least make it a little less confusing.
Yeah.
Okay, then the final thing I want to talk about is trading cards again, which I've already talked about. And I understand that what I'm about to suggest is not what Trevor would want.
All cooperative.
A totally cooperative game. No, I think it would be really, really interesting to have a 5-card face-up biro that you literally trade with if you're trading. As many cards as you want, down, and pick up, and that's your turn.
Interesting.
Because then people see what you're discarding, what you're not discarding, and especially if there's double symbols on each card, like you're not giving away that much information. And it gives you something to look at while it's not your turn. If you're like, ooh, I really, really, really need this card that's going to get me a bonus point on my end goal, and it's got my suit on there, and we are sucking it up on defense, and it's going to bonus our defense. And I'm going to get 3 points out of it or whatever. I might as well, spend a turn trading out some cards to buff up my hand, and then on the subsequent turn I can do it. It just gives you a reason other than, oh dang, I can't play anything.
Could you also draw blind then, Evan? Just like not getting away from the AP thing that would bother me. Bother everybody else that plays with me. Could you also draw blind in case there's nothing in that row? Like maybe you traded out and now all your crap is still sitting there by the time it comes around to your turn.
I would say you do want, kind of like, it depends on your system, right? And your card count and your in-game triggers. So if running out of cards is a thing and you allow anybody anytime to trade out cards, then you've got an in-game accelerator, right? Whereas if you're trading with this buy row, the only in-game accelerator is how many cards are played out into the field.
Because they're just replacing the buy row.
Because you're just replacing the buy row, except for the cards that you're actually playing out, and then you're drawing one, which has to get replaced from the deck.
Right.
So kind of like there's a constellation of things that affects, or not. Now, what was I going to say? I was going to say there is a way you can do that. You can attach some sort of cost or penalty to swapping out or reshuffling that row. Like maybe you draw an extra, or bump down your something or lose a something or do a whatever to swap out that row and cycle it and shuffle it and redo it. You could have some sort of way of doing that.
Or that could be the intruder card.
Sure. Right.
You swap all of the cards in the city. It invites intruders. Kind of makes sense. It's like you're being inefficient. You're kind of like distracting people.
Right. I mean, yeah.
I think the important thing to note with that is like all the costs are for everyone, so it doesn't really feel like that much of a cost to the individual. I feel like when you add those penalties,
right,
it's like actively harming everyone. So yeah, I think your idea is sound, but like figuring out there needs to be some sort of thing that is not
personal
great for the individual. Yeah.
Right.
Otherwise, it's like I don't care if it's bad as long as it's not only bad for me.
Yeah, you could find a more personal penalty. If you needed to, could be you discard the whole buy row, and your
size is reduced,
and your hand size is reduced by one until your next draw up or whatever.
I did actually find that in our game because I was the only one that didn't want to or didn't cash in.
Yeah.
But I wanted to, but I knew that 3 cash-ins already,
right,
or 3 trades. I was like, no, we're hitting it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure one of the 3 probably cashed in because it put them in a better position. It wasn't that they didn't have a card they couldn't play.
Yeah.
And that's the that's the trade-in that I would be worried about, them not taking a personal penalty. Because being the only one that didn't do it, I kind of felt like a martyr.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, well, I can't do it too. That'll be all 4.
Personally,
we're going to draw 4 of these 6 cards right away. Like, no, we can't do that.
I would be wary of attaching the big negative penalty for everybody to cycling the card market, but
I'm also curious why. I think it really makes a lot of sense that getting to 15 prestige is the end game trigger. And I'm curious why this is an end game trigger. Playing through the cards. Because like if you have a market, they could just cycle, and if you run out of cards, you run out of cards.
Sorry, can you say that again? What is
like, because you said running out the draw deck is one of the end game triggers, right?
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah,
one
yeah,
thing that
lost
ends.
trigger. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's a lost. Yeah, it's a lost trigger.
Mhm.
I guess you can't advance your prestige anymore if you run out of cards, right? Is that the reason?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Or your happiness. And it just kind of lights a fire under people to like. It's like one of the more subtle ways to encourage you to play cards from another tribe is that the game is leaning a little bit more towards the end if you're running out of the cards.
Is it a loss condition to run out of the deck, or is it a loss condition if you run out of the deck and then can't play a card?
That, yeah. So the deck can run out. Essentially, the loss condition is you just have no more plays to play.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is what
That's
you were
different.
getting at, right, Jack?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And that is different than what I was expecting. I thought it was just
Okay.
when you draw through the deck.
No, it's sorry. That's probably just another explanation thing of it.
Okay.
You can run out of the deck and you're just left with whatever cards you have. And if you can't reach a win condition, it's assumed to be a loss.
Yes.
I think in our game, the very first game we played, I think we hit that condition. I don't know if you remember that playthrough or not, but I think we actually got to that point and I was like, oh, we're so close, but I can't play.
Yeah, that sounds really familiar. Like we were like one prestige away or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, so I've kind of outlined, as I always do when I play other people's games. I'm like, well, you know what you should do, but but the big I would do this and put this here and do this over here, and then that would smooth out this system. But at the end of the day, it's make sure that people don't just want to tank the game.
Yeah.
Make sure that cycling your cards isn't just bad for yourself and for everybody. And I think those were whatever else I said. I don't remember now. Those were the two big ones that I remember now. Oh yeah, timing of things happening, a little bit, and then thematically tying in card placement rules.
Up and down, right?
But yeah.
Can I ask you, did the water one make sense thematically to you?
Water,
I know thematically playing off of each other still makes sense. At least it makes sense in my mind.
Water, I still don't understand.
Okay.
Because I can play it next to other ones, or I can't.
You can play it next to any other card, but you can also play it above or below other water cards.
That's
so water just sort of ignores the arrows if it's played next to water.
Yeah.
I mean, if it brings a really cool thing in the game, which I didn't notice, but maybe it does, then sure, that could be worth the rules overhead.
Okay. It's mostly just to provide more up and down, because
gives you more flexibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if it's just to add more up and down, then you can add more up and down cards.
Yeah.
It's just slightly different, Evan, because it's flexible. Because like up cards, so like this up card can only be played above another card, but like this water card could be played anywhere adjacent to another water card.
I understand that. I'm saying, is that rules differential and increased overhead worth a differential rule set for a new symbol?
Yeah.
As far as placement goes.
Right.
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't see it, but it might be.
My only thought, and I think I mentioned this briefly, is when it was first being explained, sort of how my mind was imagining the city this was like ground level, and building above and building below, and then after that was sort of broken down, I was like, okay, so this is like north, this is like south. I like that aspect of it, like the water was just a symbol, like it thematically, I didn't really like understand. You said like a river running through, and so then I was thinking like, okay, so is that like a sort of north to south, so like a river's going through? But I don't know. It just that was something that was confusing to me at first. Is I was imagining it having the placement of these cards being like that is its location in relation to the city in some way, but that sort of as the game played out more, it didn't necessarily mean that like you could have like an up card that is in this row if there was like a card here first and then an up card was played there or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
So, but just to circle back around, like there were some things that I thought you did really, really well here that I was surprised by. I mean, not because I had any negative expectations of you, but I was just like I was pleasantly surprised by some things. Um, like the hidden role kind of aspect, um, and some of the I don't know, like the semi co-op stuff I really liked. And
Thanks.
I like spatial organizational card game play, as I'm sure a couple other folks here have played one of my other card games that does that too. So you're kind of doing a lot of things that I obviously think are really cool. Um, one of the one of the things where I might be like Trevor, or maybe we're just opposite in this, is I think if we had 5 people out, 5 units, I would not be able to effectively track what the heck's happening down there.
Uh-huh.
I think 3 is probably where my brain maxes out. And so that might just be, I might be the outlier on that. Maybe 5's great. But I would definitely look at that and just kind of ask people, during, like, have it be a question during playtesting or whatever, where you're like, were you able to effectively pay attention to what is happening down here, or did you miss triggers constantly? And I, as the watcher and person who understands the game the best, have to continually remind my playtesters, oh, this thing came out, so now you need to add one of those. Oh, this thing came out, so now you need to do one of those. Because if you find that you have to keep doing that, then it's too much overhead.
Mm-hmm.
But,
yeah, that's fair.
But if people are catching it and always doing it, then it's fine, and it's just me. I'm a weirdo.
No, I don't think it is just you. I think I've experienced it. Kind of depends on the play, who's playing, and what cards are out there.
Yeah.
I did choose 5 so that like every tribe can always be represented by at least one, and then have an extra space open.
Mm-hmm. That's why 3 would be perfect, because then definitely one tribe isn't represented.
Right. 3 would be the other one that I'd go for, is 3.
Because I like that. But anyway, yeah, that's it. Overall, I think it's great, man. I'm excited for it.
Thank you. And this has been great. Like, not only y'all have really good feedback, but also just being able to watch a gameplay was very, very cool. And taught me a lot, just like watching you guys play your cards rather than like having to guess what you were doing behind a screen of fake cards.
Yeah. It's important.
Well, one of the things, Fritz, I like to ask at the end of a playtest after we've gone through all of the feedback is kind of, you're the designer of this game. Yeah. What to you sort of bubbles to the top? Like, what's on your mind after this playtest, after hearing your feedback? Anything that you are like, oh, that, that's great, or something that you're observing, or what's kind of going through your mind?
Yeah. So I think, we heard a lot about the, like, not discouraging people from just wanting to tank the city. Like, that's what we need to avoid. And that's something I've heard ever since the game was created. And I've implemented a bunch of ways to do that. Some haven't worked out, some are still in the game. And I think there's a lot of interesting ideas that were presented today. I really want to experiment with the buy row. I think that's a really cool idea, whether it's face up or face down. I just want to get in there and mess with it. There are aspects of what a lot of people have said about the market that, could swing one way or the other. Like, I do agree with Trevor. that having all of the cards out there all face up would just like, I wouldn't look at them. I just randomly pick and I'd be like, yeah, this one's fine. That I'm the opposite of you, Trevor. I don't get analysis paralysis. Well, I do get analysis paralysis, but I just ignore it and just swing wildly.
Yeah.
and
Just try
I
this.
lose very hard.
Yeah.
So I can see that being an issue with the market, but also like I see the value of having that face up, especially if it's a buy row. Experimenting with all the tribes in, I think will also be interesting. I've done that before. And I definitely think it's necessary for the 4-player game that there's at least one more. And that was kind of like the most exciting thing when I saw that there was a full house tonight. Was like, this is like the one piece of information I need to know. And it was great that I was able to get it. Because in the past I've experimented with it and your cards just don't come up enough. If you have more decks in there, you're just dealing with more variety of decks that aren't yours. But if you're interested, I've never experimented with a market or a buy row or just having it like extra available. So I could see that being the thing that mitigates this thought that I've had for a while, which is like, I need to throw in more, but I can't. Like,
Yeah.
So
right.
Having both of those come up at once just like made something click in my mind. Oh yeah, that's great.
Nice.
I also interested in experimenting with the double tribal
Symbols.
icons. Yeah. I forget who mentioned it first. But
Sasha.
as a question to the
Sasha.
group, like how
Yeah.
frequent would you want that to be? Like I know one option was the communal deck. In my mind, it's too much to have every card be double. I've thought in the past about doing like the unit cards because like it's people coming together to like fulfill this task might thematically work, but then certain unit cards don't. But that could be fine. Like maybe every deck has 2 unit cards that have another deck or something like that. I don't know. But
I mean,
how often would y'all like to see that? Like I could be totally wrong and not wanting it on every card, and that's fine.
My thought is it's only the community cards that can have doubles,
Okay.
and that would sort of, if you wanted to have the separate deck set up, like that was another point, but that would solve that problem because then all the community cards wouldn't be sorted out. It would just be a balanced thing when you're creating the community deck to have the right amount of each of the different tribes. But and then it also like the backs of the cards, you wouldn't know that like it wouldn't matter what the back says because there's no symbol, so it wouldn't have 2 symbols on the back or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think of that part.
That was my thought on that.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the idea of the wild cards. As much as I like the idea of the 2 symbols on a card, I really like the idea of throwing a wild card out. Choke. Hold on. Uh-oh.
Oh, you're
We
back.
can hear you.
There we go.
Yeah.
Back. Okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
My thing just died. Because I think what that would do is you would still have all of your cards out there with the tribes on them, but then you'd have these other cards with markers on them, and you'd be like, okay, those 3 are Jack's cards, and I'm not really sure what Jack is. I think he might be this, and if he is, we're in deep trouble because he's got 3 tokens out there and 5 tribe cards. But if I'm wrong on the tribe, and that doubt is all I need to not go, I'm dead. As long as I don't go, I'm dead, I still feel like I'm in the game. That's all I need. I just need I'm not dead. I still got a chance.
Yeah.
There's a chance.
Scrutineer's tribe.
The one thing I just wanted to note with when you have elements where having your hidden role is more important or having that sort of information be more valuable, that makes things like you are picking up cards that are face down market, like you're going to be picking up your own cards because there's no information to
Right.
go off of other than your own cards, and that immediately gives away what you are.
Yeah.
And so you have to like be conscious of, if you want the hidden roles to be really important, you can't be having mechanics that show your hand that are essentially things that you're going to have to do.
Right.
So yeah, just a thought.
Yeah, if you were gonna mix that in, maybe it nullifies the whole hidden thing, or
Yeah.
sorry, the wild thing. So maybe it would make more sense to have two on a card. Of recent with my designs, I've actually gone for what I think was the bigger change, because I would make micro changes, and I'd be like, this isn't really like it. And it takes forever to get playtesters, like to get good playtesters, to get a good play. I mean, I get 2 in a week if I'm lucky, with people that, you know, really kind of want to playtest. So I usually get like 1 a week.
Do 2 a week or 1 a week is great.
Yeah. So so I mean, if you think about that, you're not getting that many playtests, and to get continual playtests from the same people and really feed off, like really build off the feedback, is really hard to do. So I've tried to make bigger changes quicker. In the past, I've made little changes slower, and it's kind of got me into a hole, and then I kind of get, you know, a little bit down on the design because I'm like, it's not doing what I want it to do. It's just not there. And I'm like, no, I need to shelve this instead of just doing the bigger change quicker. So I would ask yourself, what's the bigger change? What's more likely to throw it on its ear? And I would encourage you to maybe go with that one, because if it works, you're good, and you can always backstep it. Of course, you could go the other way and go, okay, which one's more likely to throw this on its ear? Okay, let's start with the other one, because I don't think that's going to work. But yeah, I had feedback on one of my games recently where somebody said, get rid of the market. And I was like, are you crazy? That's the whole game. I can't get rid of the market. I can't do that. And I got rid of the market. I didn't even notice it. Literally.
It's great now. It's way better.
Yeah, it's way better.
I mean, yeah, if you're
Nice. Yeah. Fritz, any other thoughts? Any other sort of observations or experiments you want to try?
Yeah, I'm intrigued to experiment with the invader deck and making that less tied to the discard. I think just all of the discard action in general is what I'm most excited to just throw to the wind and experiment with different routes of cycling through cards and whatnot, and integrating the invader deck a little bit into a different aspect of the game. I'm a little bit hesitant with throwing it into the defense related. Sorry, Evan.
I'll survive. I'll survive.
Yeah. Only because a lot of the invader cards already say something along the lines of like, this will happen unless you sacrifice this amount of defense, or if like you have this defense. Like defense is already meant as like a mitigator to invader cards, so that sometimes they're not.
So negative.
Yeah, but maybe that's just the part that needs to change too. So I'm not open to throwing it out. But I was almost thinking like maybe the Prestige is a better track too, thematically. Like if you're this lowly little city, then nobody's going to notice if you go and invade it. But I do see the stronger connection between the like, oh, it's an undefended city. Let's go and take what we want from it. So yeah, it's just something to think on in general. But
thematically tied to defense or the amount of money you have is thematically the strongest.
Yeah,
I would think.
Yeah,
money is interesting. because money doesn't come into play other than cost.
But
the current point in time.
tying being attacked to money is a thing that I love. Obviously, if you've ever
Cool.
seen After the Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah, after the yeah,
So
that's funny.
a little personal bias there.
Cool. Well, Fritz, I'm really excited to see this game continue to develop. If folks who are watching the test stream want to get in touch with you, they want to play Prestige, or they want to follow along with what you're doing, how can they do that? Where's the best place, and what's the best way to follow you and follow along with Prestige?
Yeah, we have a Facebook group. That's probably the easiest to like find is just searching Prestige on Facebook. It is created by Oak Lounge Games, so they're like the credited creator of that group. And then in the Facebook group is where we announce everything. We also have a Discord, but I hate searching through Discord. So if you go,
I think I've got the link in the show notes too.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So Discord is where we schedule all of our TTS. Yeah, I'm also on Instagram, and I post about it there too. So all those links down in the show thing.
And you also test pretty regularly in the Bay Area too, right?
I do, yeah. So I'm part of the San Francisco board game designers group. So we meet once a month at Dogpatch Games, which is a really awesome spot in San Francisco, and just play test our games there.
Looks like a really cool spot too.
Yeah.
Pictures that you've shown, I'm like, oh, I'm jealous.
I want to play there.
It's a great setup. All the owner is like super into helping the design community, so he's got like all sorts of resources, and he's got like 3D printers that he lets people
Oh wow,
use.
that's
I don't know
really
if it comes
cool.
with a cost, but
Right, that's really cool.
You at least get access.
That's
so
really cool.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Cool. Nice, man. Well, great job on Prestige. Keep it up.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Any other thoughts, Sasha, Trevor, Evan?
Any comments in the comment section? Anybody piping up with any good questions or comments?
No, Sam's too busy.
All right, that's fair. All right, too busy outrunning a bear.
Just Trevor. Trevor asked, "Did he say squiggy?" And I think I like
I
it.
said
I
I
using
said Swiggy
it. Yeah,
for
I like
sure.
it.
you're a trendsetter, Evan. I'm gonna start using that for sure.
Squiggy. I don't think I came up with it. Yeah, cool, awesome. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks, all the Sasha and Trevor for jumping on and helping play test. We appreciate you guys. Jack, always I appreciate you, sir.
Yeah.
And Fritz, Paul, thanks for bringing your game on and subjecting yourself to our critical eye. And I'm excited to see how this goes, and I really hope it was beneficial for you.
Yeah, it definitely was. This was great. Thank you guys so much. And Jack, if you want to keep playing by yourself there, I can leave the server open.
Okay. If you ever want to be on as a playtester too, let us know.
Yeah, no, we would love to have you in the roster. All right, guys. Well, I am going to stop the stream here in just a moment.
Oh, and that was Playtest This?
And that was Playtest This.